Hello, everyone. How's it going?
We still have no intro.
We still have no intro.
We're
Or I
working
could
on it.
say, welcome to your weekly BS.
Yeah.
I put the S in BS. I'm Scoot. Joined always by the B in BS, Brad Starnes. How are you, Brad?
Tired, but never miss a stream. Never miss a stream.
Never miss a stream. Stream for life. Oh, no, I should have said,
Scoot
I'm
is.
your host, Daniel.
Oh no. No one cares about that name.
Yeah, for people that are watching this later. Hey, Philip. Um, there's been already a conversation going on in the chat about my real name.
Since yesterday with Hayashi talking to himself.
Hayashi's been in the chat literally for 48 hours.
He held his place in line like it was a midnight launch for a video game system.
There's no fast pass in Hayashi's eyes.
He's been in this chat more than we waited for George Lucas. More than we waited for the first day of Star Wars Celebration.
He waited in the metaphorical freezing rain.
That was 36 hours we waited in line for the first day of Star Wars Celebration.
And that's a true story as well. So far we got Corey is Ink King in the chat. Hayashi's again been here for 48 hours. Moderator Brad Phillips in here. Hey Philip, how's work? How are you?
Phil's gonna spoil Force Awakens like he did on Twitch, and we're gonna have to ban him for 72 hours.
Hallowfield's in here, man. How are you tonight? How are you doing? Seeing a lot of your posts coming through, man. Some cool stuff.
Yeah, I will. I like all the stuff because I like that you're doing just a crazy amount of different stuff. It's not just one person's style or even sticking to a certain
a bunch of different stuff.
Same lane, but also there are no doxing pictures, which I don't know. We'll give it another week. Might get an unfollow.
I say Brad almost unfollowed you.
Yeah. One more week, no doxins. I'll just take it away from him. But all right.
Yep. So what we're gonna do, and if people join, they join. But I'm gonna get started because I'm gonna be working on this one pretty intensively today. So what we are going to do today, most of you already have seen the my numerous posts. So I'm trying to post early about the live stream to give more people time to get ready and ditch their plans or whatever it is they're doing. So that we can have more folks up in her. But anyway, what we're doing today is we are going to take one of the greatest covers of all time. Actually, let me bring it up here. I'm prepared again.
Don't do Wonder Woman.
I did. Don't do it. I'm not gonna do it.
No one wants to see that again.
I have this cover right here. Look, Brad's not covered up this time.
Oh god.
So Brad's right there, kind of near Venom's butt. So this is the cover to Amazing Spider-Man number 375. One of the greatest covers of all time, if I do say so myself. Done by the incredible Mark Bagley, inked by Randy Emberlin. I don't know who did the colors, but I do follow Mark Bagley and Randy Emberlin pretty close, and Randy Emberlin's still doing a lot of artwork.
Bagley still is too.
Oh, of course, yeah.
He's still.
He'll never go away.
I think he's always been a Marvel staple. I literally don't know if he's done anything but Marvel comics.
Yeah. So, now that B Movie Saga, our preview issue is done. On my end, anyway. My end is done. So I'm taking a little bit of time here because I got a big backlog of commissions that I've been sitting on for a while. So I am gonna knock some of these off over the next month and a half. And this is one of them that I've literally been looking forward to for a while. So literally I'm just gonna be drawing this cover, but I'm gonna be drawing it in my style. So obviously I'm not as incredible as Mark Bagley is, but I have a different style. So it's literally going to be the same picture, just lots more details and lots more hash lines. So that's what I'll be working on today. I've already blue lined it.
You have to
because it's a simple layout, but to make it fit on the page right is not easy. So I've already blue lined it. Again, you won't really be able to see it when I go to the page, but I'll probably be concentrating on Venom today, and then we'll probably do another stream where I concentrate on Spider-Man.
Maybe when you Do Spidey. It'll get you in the mood and you can finish the seller piece.
Yeah, because I definitely need to do
Scoot,
that.
we did a couple of live streams on that where Scoot was doing an original piece of Venom, Carnage, and Spider-Man, a real cover quality picture, and we were going to sell the originals and maybe even get the inks and colors prints in there and sell it as a charity for the seller. And then Scoot decided that our local comic book shop didn't matter, so we stopped working on it.
That's not true. Corey, no, not better than Bagley. Never.
Yeah, man. Bagley is he's one who never got super detailed. He's one who I think exemplifies comic art, where he has the anatomy, he has the skill, he has the technical know-how, but he also has I don't want to call it a cartoon, but he has a stylized element to his artwork that really makes it different and stand out and makes it unique himself. It's what comic art is.
So I had this book when I was little too, and I actually still have it right here.
Yeah.
I have it in front of me so that I will be able to reference it, because I don't want to stray too far, but I do want to put my own spin on it. But yeah, this is the one I've had from since I was little. If you look close, you can actually see there's like indentions because I traced this cover a bunch
And
when I was
read
little.
it a billion times.
Yeah, the pages inside, there's God knows what's on the front of this thing, but this is the one I've had since I was little, so holds a special place in my heart. And also, you have to own one to be part of our special club, which we'll talk about later. All right, so
About to get into it.
yep, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. But I thought it'd be cool today too, is since we're doing a Spider-Man homage cover, to talk about our love of Spider-Man a little bit, because I think me and Brad can agree that when somebody says, "Who's your favorite comic character?" it's just understood that
Oh yeah,
it's
like
Spider-Man.
when we do top 5 lists, like name your top 5 favorite characters, we don't put Spider-Man on the list because he's everybody's favorite. He should be.
He is the hero of heroes.
Yeah. He's
Eat shit, Batman.
for a lot of reasons. I think he's an easy hero to sympathize with and project upon. That's why Miles Morales worked so well for him. Is Spider-Man, anybody can be Spider-Man under the mask, and he's the everyman. And I mean, people buying comics for the most part can't sympathize with billionaire Bruce Wayne. I mean, I guess if your parents were murdered, you could, but Spidey is just a guy. He's just a guy who down on his luck, but trying to do good, and the world does not always go his way, and so it makes it a good, compelling character.
Hashtag Daniel domination frightens the shit out of me.
No.
It really scares me. If we need to look back at the issue, I have it also where I can pull it up here. So
Yeah.
but we'll leave it off there for now, so you can see the B movie saga cover.
Yeah, so our secret club, when someday when we all can get together and have like a big Brute Studios like summit where we get all these artists together, by this time I'll have Hayashi on the payroll, and
Look at this, I'm
Corey will still be part-time.
I'm already failing. I'm out of lead in my pencil.
Oh my god. That man literally
I literally draw all the time.
That man showed up to ice skate without his skates.
Don't worry. I got plenty of extra lead here.
But
for anybody who wants to know, it's the cheap stuff.
oh yeah.
The Pentel. The
But
cheap stuff.
It's something Scoot has had that book forever. We've got a couple of issues of comics that they're rough, but we've kept them forever. They're books we remember, and when we were young, you bought a comic, and while we didn't take perfect care of that thing, is far from mint. We took care of them enough to keep reading them because we were poor and we had to hold on to the comics we got. And so when I got back into collecting comics in like 2010, collected single issues at least. I always collected trades, but we were at I think I was at one of 901 Comics' sales, and I bought a copy of that. And Mark Winchester, who I've mentioned several times, who's the Moriarty to my comic Holmes, he's like, "Oh, that's a dope cover. I need one too." And I was like, "Hey, you got it. Me and Scoot got it. That sounds like a club." So we had our Spider-Man. It was Spider-Man 375 club for a while because it's a dope cover, and then everybody knows Foil made every cover in the 90s better.
Absolutely.
Second only to that comic where they actually shot a bullet through the center of it, ruining all the interior art. If you've never seen it, it's true.
What about the Kiss one where they put their actual blood in the ink?
Oh, the blood in the ink was a good gimmick. How about the Spider-Man tombstone where it's supposed to be raised, but you couldn't, so it was just like a gray tombstone on the front of a cover. But then eventually, Scoot and I are big fans of the Spider-Man armor, where he had armor during the Web of Spider-Man. It's only had one appearance, and Scoot's going to show it here. It's Web of Spider-Man number 100. It's a very expensive book at about $7 if you can find it. Key issue, should be on everyone's wall, everyone's list to get. And so now I bought 901 Comics had 2 copies of it, so I bought both of them, gave one to Scoot, and told Mark he had to buy a copy or he was out of the club. So he bought his own copy, and now it's become the Spider-Man foil cover club.
Yeah.
Something like that. We got to come up with a better name. So next, one of the comics I had growing up is Spider-Man 2099. The first, well, it's not the first appearance, but the first full issue of Miguel O'Hara. And so that one's, once again, rad, super dynamic pose of Spider-Man 2099 in red foil. So I don't know what Mark's favorite color is, but we've got the green foil for me, red foil for you. Hope maybe gold is his, and we can already catch up. But maybe we'll add more. But whenever we meet, we'll have our normal summit, and there's going to be like a little door you have to come up to and knock on it after hours, and you have to show all 3 issues. At least by, maybe it'll be more by then, and then you can come into the super secret club and hang out with everybody.
Secret club.
You have to. It's those covers, and you have to be wearing a smoking jacket, though. None of us will be smoking.
Yeah.
But
the jacket will be smoking.
yeah. Hayashi over here making us feel old. He said he had to. If we have a meetup, he had to tell 90s stories. The 90s were a fun time. It's not all the internet makes it cracked up to be. The whole only 90s kids can understand. All you have to do is Google stuff and you can understand it just fine. There's some things that were awesome, like there's a nostalgia kick for all things 90, and some of it's good, some of it's not. Like I growing up, I loved the cartoon Rugrats, and that show is annoying.
It's not good.
It is not fun. I do not enjoy it anymore. I like went back, but like on a completely different note, I've been watching Clarissa Explains It All, and
Melissa Joan Hart had my heart,
dude. And I've got to say, like, that show, of course, it's a kid show, so like kid actors, so some of the acting's really not great, but it's really kind of like a little inappropriate, very inappropriate for these days, because half the time she's trying to kill her brother or send him off to, somewhere, some island, and they talk about sex, they talk about all kinds of weird stuff, and her breaking the fourth wall is such a good narrative device that they use incredibly well, and her like contrarian strong woman, I'll do what I want, who cares, my best friend's a dude, might be where I started, like, got my I like women who can kick my ass fetish. And like it might have started when I was really young with Melissa Joan Hart, and I was really impressed, because man, you go back and revisit some stuff and it does not hold up. But yeah, the 90s were definitely a fun time. Hayashi spent 10 years in them, and we all survived Y2K all right.
Barely.
Our president got blowjobs in office. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson was found guilty, and then they found out he was guilty again this year or something. Like the old news came out. Well, he's found not guilty. Yeah.
If the glove don't fit, acquit, or
the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. But yeah.
Now, as far as comics in the 90s, you had the Clone Saga.
Yeah. So yeah, we all know that. I have something I call the Ben Reilly principle, which is what worked for someone doesn't work for everyone, and that's the Clone Saga. I absolutely love it. I love Ben Reilly coming in. I love them confusing him as the real Peter Parker versus Peter Parker we grew up with being the clone. I like Kane Parker coming in being this monster, and Carrion being the worst clone possible. I like when Venom gets involved. I like when Carnage is there, and it's just like if you read those books, they have like, it's the Amazing Spider-Man, the Spectacular Spider-Man, the Web of Spider-Man, Spider-Man Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. Sensational Spider-Man. You couldn't keep up with all the issues, and then they had spin-offs like the Planet of the Symbiotes, and then they would have the, they had the Scarlet Spider Volume 1 and all that stuff.
Those toys were badass.
And so, even if the stories were a bit convoluted at times, the action figures in the 90s were so good. Now, the Legends ones clearly are better quality.
Yeah.
But like my symbiote Spider-Man that sits on my desk to this day is awesome. The fact you could pull his chest out and latch it to something, he'd pull himself up, or Octo Spidey that they later used in that Slott used later in his run. So yeah, the comics could be hit or miss. I mean, like everybody always wondered why I hated the Punisher as a character. I'm like, man, when I was growing up, he had long hair and shot like energy weapons, and he had a ponytail. He was also the leader of the mob at a certain point because he had, man, I don't even know why. He was the leader of the mob in New York. So if you know anything about the Punisher, he hates the mob. They killed his family, but for some reason in the 90s, he was the leader of them. So the Punisher I was introduced to was not good.
Real quick, so
go ahead.
I'm gonna bring up the cover again real quick.
Hey, Drag Queen.
Hey, what's up? So real quick, I'm gonna bring up this cover. And it's small over here, but in this cover, Venom doesn't have tongue. Should I add tongue? He's gonna have slobber, of course,
Is
because
it the
there's
first
slobber.
aid?
But yeah, should I add tongue? Would Venom give tongue in this shot?
I think now there is no way in hell that cover would be there without tongue. How close is your Spider-Man's face to his mouth?
So I thought about this earlier. So I already have where.
Oh, it could be going back a little bit.
Yeah, it would be
okay.
Kinda action.
Billy Ray Cyrus with guns. Oh my God, Corey, you're right. Sorry, no, that just caught me off guard. Gosh. So
let me know, tongue or no.
Yeah,
tongue.
we'll keep doing all this stuff. I'll let you know what they say.
I can come back later. So I'm just gonna leave that cover up there.
Corey says always tongue.
Oh.
Corey, I almost had to call Scoot the other day when Scoot did a secret piece of artwork, and Corey made fun of him for over rendering. It was really well worded. We'll have to when Scoot shows it, we'll post up. We'll have to post the Corey quote with it. But Gabe says Venom needs tongue.
What's up, Gabe? How are you?
That's two good, strong Venom opinions. I don't know. I think that's like if you silhouette it. Think of like this was black and white. That's a good way for a cover. If you put a person on the cover, if it was in black and white, can you tell who it was? And you could almost mistake him for Carnage with his open mouth without the tongue. You have been complaining about the Carnage, the Let There Be Carnage trailer, because Carnage sticks his tongue out a lot and has teeth, and like Carnage is supposed to just have the black.
So frustrating.
Hey John, what's up?
What's
Good
up,
to
John?
have you in. Yeah.
Let There Be Carnage got pushed back, so hopefully they'll cancel it.
Hopefully they pushed it to hell.
Yeah, Eric Larson did a lot of tongue action. He was a very tonguey Venom.
At least, I mean, like, Bagley has him slobbering, at least.
Yeah.
Like rabid.
And I don't know, if you guys have never looked in this issue, I highly suggest it, because there are some amazing action scenes in this issue.
Bagley is one of those people who, I hope he never retires. I hope he's like 112, and then he's just like, this was my last comic and croaks suddenly, like, because one, he's probably the first artist we knew by name. I mean, sure, I guess like Jack Kirby and stuff we all knew, but the first one we knew and followed. We would buy comics because we saw, I mean, I still buy shit. I got a cover that's Spidey and Nova. I don't even know what the interior is like because he drew it and it looks awesome. And Scoot can back me up or disagree with me on this, but I think his best work ever was Spider-Man Life Story with Chip Zdarsky.
So I'll tell you, it was amazing. Yeah. It may be his best work, but it's not my favorite.
Oh, and it doesn't have to. Like, I always say, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, you can argue, like, I like to say that their I think their best composed album is Stadium Arcadium, but my favorite's By the Way. Like, that's fine. You can always say something better, but you have a favorite. And I just remember how he drew Peter in that, especially, was so good. And then
crazy good.
It also might have been that I was hypnotized by Zdarsky's amazing storytelling of retelling that Spidey's entire history, but keeping him aging the right way and all that stuff. Super fun. Oh, Matt, glad you're dropping. I hope everything's going okay, man.
Yeah, we were just talking about you, Matt, before the stream, saying I hope everything's good.
Yeah, we have a saying around here that's us versus the universe, which means we all stick together because the universe isn't going to give us anything. So let us know, even if we just need to cheer you on or, just need to vent to somebody, we're here for you. Yeah, Bagley, I loved when Bagley came on with Cates and did the Venom Island stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I mean, he got to draw a T-Rex Venom. That was super fun. And like I don't know, like somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure there's issues out there, but I never feel like Bagley phones it in. Like he always does a good job. It might be that he's just comfy. And it's sort of like Scoot took a online drawing course, comic art course with David Finch back in the day. God, that was like 2012 or something, maybe 13.
Yeah, I was living in the apartment.
And in it, somebody like whoever was moderating with him was talking about how he thought Jim Lee peaked and never really improved, never really changed its style. And David Finch stopped and was like, I completely disagree with you. And I remember he said, I'm ad-libbing, but he was like, Jim Lee was the best of us early, and then he has maintained a high quality of artwork throughout his entire career. Even right now, what is he, CCO of DC, or and then he runs Wildstorm over there too, and he still is doing interiors, he's still doing covers, he still does promotional art, and his artwork, like, God, when he did the 10-year thing where he redrew that Namor on a throne, I almost cried. Like, I would have given him everything in my bank account for that. And I think Bagley's the same way. Bagley had a style, and it's changed slightly over the years, and it's updated, and it's changed. It's smoothed out in some ways, but it's all of his stuff's always just so good, so fun.
Yeah, he's consistently amazing. But I mean, he's also been doing it forever. Plus he's an inspiration, because he didn't really get known until he was older. So
yeah, and because
inspiration for us old guys.
How I understand it is he was, I think, mid-30s, and he kind of he drew all the time, and his friends thought he was good enough, and he had submitted, I think, a few times and just got rejected. And then Marvel was doing some contest where you signed up for it, you like mailed off, and they sent you a book, and you had to fill up this book with art based on prompts and things.
See, Matt, take it easy.
And he didn't think that he was gonna make it, so he didn't care. He didn't even apply, and his friends like gathered all the money up, paid Marvel, they sent the book, had him fill it out, and as far as I remember, he turned it in on like the last possible day and got hired.
Yeah.
And so that's cool, he was a guy he started a little later, like Scoot said, somebody to inspire us. I think your pooch is stuck. Oh no, she's getting, never mind, I got her. His art style is just him drawing. Yeah, so I like stories like that. Todd McFarlane's famous for showing all of his rejection letters and telling you to just keep drawing. I think anybody like that's good. That's we talk a lot about positive people in the comic community. I wish Bagley was on like social media and stuff.
I know he is, because I follow him, but he never really posts anything.
Oh yeah.
You guys let me know if I get off camera, because I have it zoomed in just so you can kind of.
Yeah, if we get back on the 90s, funny thing is, like, I'm going to use an example. We talk about, like, anytime you share an opinion, you run the risk of angering someone. And you'd think it'd be like, oh, politics and religion. You share your opinion on that, you're going to invite heat. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. I could wake up in the morning and be like, oh, yeah, I'm having Cocoa Puffs, and they're the best cereal on the planet, and I'm gonna get some angry DMs.
Captain Crunch.
Oh, they're not my favorite, by far. Well, you have a Captain Crunch action figure collection, so
yes, I do, and it's amazing.
Which I facilitated, but one day when they did the resurrection of they did Uncanny X-Men Annual #1 back in I think 2018, 2019, and they resurrected Cyclops. Of course, I was pumped because I'm the Cyclops fan. I've always enjoyed Cyclops. And when they brought him back, they kept him in his Racer X outfit, which I really enjoy from the Marvel Now era. Thought it was really cool, really fun. But then the next issue, can't remember, maybe it was Duggan who was doing it, Jerry Duggan. But they put him back in his 90s outfit, and him and Wolverine were basically, X-Men was just him and Wolverine running around. And I posted up the cover of that, and probably something stupid like Our Lord and Savior has risen, you know, because I'm such a Cyclops fan, and some guy who we've met at conventions was like, I hope they put him back in his 90s outfit. And I was like, oh man, I've never really been that big of a fan of it. Like, I guess people love it, you know, because it's iconic. Jim Lee drew it and really sold it. It's like I've always been more of a fan of his X Factor outfit, specifically the cover Walt Simonson did, where he didn't have the cowl and he just had his hair out. Yeah. I was like, that's always been my favorite. And he's like, no, the 90s when it's the best. And I was like, hey man, we're just talking opinion. Dude was furious that I refused to agree with him. And so, yeah, if you're an X-Men fan, be ready that everyone thinks the 90s is the best.
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly disagree with them, but let them have it. I guess right now 90s opinions are what matter. You want them to be or you want to have the 90s opinion that makes you the coolest. What else about Bagley? What else can we talk about?
Talk about his artwork all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, he co-created Carnage, for God's sake.
Oh, was he one of the first? Did he first draw him, or?
Yeah. And, like I said, him and Randy Emberlin are credited as the co-creator.
Okay.
Because he penciled and Randy Emberlin inked.
Which is anybody reading Extreme Carnage? I want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it in a very unspoiler way, but I still don't want to give any kind of spoilers if people want to wait. I've been enjoying it, if that's what matters. I've been enjoying the story so far.
Hey, Mark's in here.
Mark's Hickman, we trust, of course. He's on Substack too, same as Scott Snyder. That's where they're doing the course from. That's Speaking cool. of, where's Aaron?
Yeah, where is Aaron? I might need to check on him.
It's only like 2 a.m. in the UK. Somebody call him and wake him up.
Yeah. You know, he ain't doing anything much better right now.
Oh, have we shipped out the Wonder Woman yet?
Not yet. I was gonna give it. So yeah, I meant to pack it today so I could give it to you to send, but I may just.
Nothing against you international people, but my wallet is happy when you did win. We'll get you guys later. We'll be doing enough international shipping when the Fathom covers come in.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't know if do we have an ETA on that? I know they're gonna reveal them in a few weeks.
Still saying September.
Oh, September. Okay.
So next month. Next month. So since we're on the Spider-Man kick out there, does anybody have a favorite Spider-Man character?
Man, so I'll start, and when people start chiming in, we'll throw some stuff. Mine used to be growing up, Shocker. What was his name? Edmund Schultz. I loved him. I think I just liked his design. He was just a cool yellow suit.
Yeah. TV show had a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, he was really cool in the TV. I always remember him, Black Suit Spidey throwing him into the water and him having to jump out of his suit because it was electrocuting him.
His action figure was badass.
His action figure was awesome. He had the super straight arms you could pull back and shoot the lightning bolts out of. But now, this day and age, of course, other than Spider-Man, let's throw all the spiders out because it's Kane Parker or Ben Reilly otherwise. But Otto Octavius is my favorite character. And like right now, I'm rereading The Clone Conspiracy that Dan Slott did several years back. And Otto might be the most interesting character in that entire story. And he has a line in there that says he's Spider-Man's one true nemesis. And he is 100% right. I've argued it before. It's not Norman Osborn. It's Otto Octavius. And when Otto's written by the right person, his character is so fun. Like Christos Gage's second run of Superior Spider-Man, it's a travesty that him and Mike Hawthorne's run was only like 8 issues. I think it was 8 or 12 issues. But what a shame. Like his first arc where, gosh, what is that guy? He's a Herald of Galactus and he carries the axe.
Terrax?
Terrax, there you go. He has axe in his damn name. He shows up in San Francisco and like, Superior Spidey has to fight him, and that is way out of his wheelhouse. But it's a cool homage because Spider-Man fought a Herald of Galactus. He whooped Fire Lord's ass. And like, so there's, cool things they did with that and how he did it. And like his supporting characters were super fun. And it just, I guess because it wasn't a mainline Spidey story, it didn't last long. I loved it. And Otto, the whole thing with Otto being Spidey's always been fun with me because he's balancing the power and responsibility, but also his own villainous past. Super interesting stuff. So my vote would always be Otto Octavius. Well, that's my favorite. We're not voting on anything. Venom forever.
Of course, yeah, Venom.
Yeah, Doc Ock is so good. And I think what it is Doc Ock is the mirror of Spidey, where Spidey got his powers young and he had a positive role model in Uncle Ben, and even he has the guilt of losing Uncle Ben to drive him to keep his responsibility in line, where Otto grew up with abusive parents, or at least an abusive dad. He grew up, being made fun of for his weight and his appearance and being a loser, and he had nobody to tell him it was going to be okay, no one to show him love to make him feel better. And by the time he was able to get power, he seized it by himself. And when he had that power, it was basically like, well, now I have it, and so everyone else I don't care about. Everyone else is second to me. I am better than you. And he has this inferiority complex, and in it, he sees himself in Spider-Man, and he has to best Spider-Man to prove that he is better. And that's when Dan Slott got in that really well, talking about the Superior Spider-Man stuff, where he was trying to prove he's better. And the final issues of that, which I'm gonna spoil because it's been out for like 6 years. The final few issues of that, where Otto realizes he couldn't beat Norman because he doesn't have the right mental mindset to beat Norman, and he slowly suppresses his soul and personality and lets Peter Parker take over, is just goosebumps. I mean, just great writing. And it shows that, once again, they're almost the same character, just a little different. And it gets into how Spider-Man was made. Spider-Man was an accident, so he got his powers by accident, and Otto got his through his own genius, which makes them destiny versus, or accident versus creation or destiny. There's a few different ways your origins can come about, and Otto's are different from his, which in the end makes him different from Spider-Man. We'll see who else we got in here. Holofield knows.
Yeah, everybody seems to say that. Mark said Scorpion.
Scorpion's
he's a cool design.
Scorpion, like Matt Gargan in general, is a fun character. And when he was in Dark Avengers as Spider-Man, he was wearing the Venom suit. That was super fun because he was just crazy. And then, gosh, I think it's in one of maybe it's one of Bendis's new Avengers where they just they start back up after the Dark Reign, and they're pulling the Venom suit off of him, and he's just going crazy. And then last we saw him, he was Carnage paralyzed him because he took his codex. Hey, Justin. But we're gonna deviate.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
We're gonna deviate just a little, but keep on topic. So Spider-Man. I don't want to create a debate about the movies, but here is my biggest problem with the Amazing Spider-Man line. Is in it, they allude to the fact and show that Peter Parker's dad and mom, I guess to some degree, I think she was supposed to be a scientist with him, were setting him up and preparing him for the thing that bit him. They were preparing him. I think it was supposed to be they were inoculating him against him. But still, in the end, it allowed him to be Spider-Man. And with that one choice, Spider-Man's origin has always been that he was at that school trip and a spider bit him. That's how it happened. He just happened to be taking pictures. I think he was snooping pictures of like Gwen or something. But that's what makes Spider-Man relatable, is any of us could have been on a school field trip that we were bored to death of and get bitten by a spider and then have powers. And when you changed it to where he was being groomed almost to be Spider-Man, you change accident to destiny, basically destiny, which is what Superman's part of. Superman's destiny. He's destined to be a hero. And when you change that, you remove our connection from him. You remove our everyday relatability. And Scoot and I talk about this a lot, is the reason he draws, like he'll reference cars and bikes and stuff when he draws comics more than he does the monsters, because people can see a monster and they have no frame of reference. But if his car is off, out of realism, if it doesn't line up right, it, yeah, you're gonna know. And then what you need is you need that realism to anchor you to the story, so that the fantastical doesn't pull you out of the story. And that's what they did with Spidey. In that story, no, he was no longer all of our nerdy asses sitting there reading books about physics, or doing good in school and getting picked on for it, or just being picked on because we were weird. And it went to, oh, it was an accident, and then he's Spider-Man now. And I mean, he still had the responsibility, he still had the Uncle Ben loss, but I still felt like the biggest thing they did wrong is they changed his origin category. And once you did that, you couldn't go back. And then they also kind of botched the whole parent thing with like that is too convoluted even for me, because they came back during the Clone Saga era, and then they were actually clones, and you're just like, oh my god. Yeah, no, Superman, that's the reason Superman's hard to write, is because how many of us woke up and had all this awesome power and we were destined to be heroes? None of us. Actually, most of us are jerks. We're just bad people. No, I'm
a great person.
We struggle. Like, Superman struggles when the decisions are, when he has to make a decision of the many versus the few, or something like that, where he's like, I can save this kid on the train track, but if I save him, a bomb's going to go off in Metropolis. So what does he do? You put him in a no-win scenario. Superman struggles with no-win scenarios. Spider-Man is, I guess he struggles, I don't know, he struggles with his guilt. He struggles with, I don't know, I always like when they show Spidey, like during like Avengers events, you never see Spidey out there punching Doctor Doom. He's the one saving everybody. But at the same time, he struggles, he always talks about it. It's not like he's incorruptible, but at the same time, he still struggles with that incorruptibility. All of us are decent people. If Corey called and said, hey man, I need you to send me money, I'd be like, sure. But we all also see people on the road we want to sideswipe, or we want to yell at people on the phone. And if we had that power, we would struggle with these exponentially greater issues that Spider-Man has to struggle with. Do you go on that date, or do you show up to your like your grandma is in the hospital, do you go check on her, or do you fight the supervillain in the street? And that's where his conflict comes from. So Superman would try to find a way to do both, but I don't know.
Makes sense to me. Also not a writer. I'd rather just draw the two people beating the shit out of each other.
No, I'm with you, Gabe. My dad was a huge Superman fan. He was born in 41, so he probably read some comics I would cry if I even got near. Like, I'd like to be in a room, same as like the Mona Lisa, where you can't get within like 20 feet of it, and you just have to take a selfie and be happy. And then him and I spent years watching Smallville together when it used to come on ABC Family. They used to play like every Thursday. And so I got this love from Superman from him. And there's some fun things. Like Red Sun is, of course, a really fun story, because it shows that as much as he has destiny and he wants to be a good guy, in nurture still plays a role in your upbringing or your outcome. But I still think my favorite Superman story, oh gosh, Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman, super fun, incredibly fun. But I love Straczynski's JMS's Earth One, where he kind of shows him right out of high school, going into trying to figure out if he wants to go into college, and or does he want to be a scientist, or does he want to do this, he want to do that, and even struggling about whether he wants to be Superman. But he does it in a way that is not a betrayal of his lawful good personality, where Superman is always going to do the right thing. He just sometimes he gave him a little bit of a struggle, a little bit more of a path he had to go on. And I think there's also a story in there about him burying his dog on the moon, which, if you lose a pet, do not read. And the artwork is incredible. If you watch Man of Steel, if you read that book and then watch the Man of Steel movie, you can see where Zack Snyder got a ton of his inspiration. And once again, just opinion, I think he didn't nail it as well. I thought it was a good idea bringing Zod in, because the villain in Earth One's first volume is kind of just like this one-off, and I'll be honest, I don't even know if he's in any other stories, but bringing Zod in gave him a connection back to Krypton, and gave him, you know, a villain you can relate to. He gave him the 1-1, where the 1-1 villain where Iron Man, Ironmonger, you know, Venom, who was it? Who the hell was in that movie? Symbiote number 4, Riot.
Riot.
Was it Riot? And you always have where you fight the bigger version of yourself, and so
Why did they choose?
Why did they choose to make that movie?
That's true. A whole nother discussion.
Yeah, I still don't know. Like, it's still funny how 4 of us went and saw that movie and we're like, oh my god, this was the worst. And then we get into comic shops and everybody's like, Venom was gnarly. And I'm like, what? Did we see the same movie? Yeah, speedsters are fun. Like, I think speedsters, you get two kinds of them, where you get the people who you have the speedsters, like when they come into like their core personality, you get a lot of people who they make the speedsters where they're almost like ADHD, where they're just running constantly and they're always on the move and they live life at, you know, breakneck speed. Or you have the ones where they're lazy, where they're just like, they sit on the couch and they hear the siren go by and they wait like a solid 5 minutes before they get up and move. And like, there's a the Atlas Beetle has a speedster called Juliet, and I've been trying to figure out what to do with her to not make her too stereotypical. And then you got the same thing as like, I like the idea of telling them telling stories from their perspective and at an accelerated rate, sort of like those great scenes in the two Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies where Sherlock Holmes slows down time in his mind and he runs through an entire fight in his head. And it's one of those things where the speedsters, do they perceive speed completely differently, you know, if it was with their speed up, so they can sit and analyze a situation crazy fast. And so you can tell a 20-page comic, but it only takes place over like 5 seconds. Similar to if you've ever read the old Star Wars Legends book, A Tales of the Bounty Hunter. And IG-88 is incredible. It's the first, like 6 milliseconds of his life, and he's analyzing all the scientists and figuring out how to kill them and escape so he can go do whatever he wants because he's become sentient. And it really takes place in this extremely short time, but it's still like a, I don't know what, like a 30-40 page story or something. It's a great short story.
I read that.
Bear got me to read it back in the day, back when I was in Millington Middle School. Oh, Hayashi, man, if you like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, like I said, this is just my opinion. I felt they changed him a little much, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But at the same time, he also had a really cool suit. His banter was on point, like when he was making fun of people, and then how he was. I wish, like, man, they never seemed to nail like the nerdiness completely. Like, he's supposed to be crazy smart.
He was super cool.
And yeah, so like I liked him when he was helping the kid with the science project, similar to one of the best Spider-Man scenes is from Spider-Man 2 when Pete and Otto are talking, and they're talking about, like, you know, they're talking back and forth about all this crazy science, and Otto is just like, finally, like I said, it's when I met Mark, I finally had somebody to talk comics on my level. I found my Moriarty.
It was not me.
And so that's cool. I think like, and they did it just recently, Far From Home, when Spidey was nerding out with Mysterio. And that was really cool. I like showing he's smart. And that was that was one thing I didn't like, is Spidey. One of Spidey's greatest achievements is supposed to be his web slingers, his web shooters and web fluid. And Andrew Garfield got, I think he made the web shooter itself, but he got the filament from Oscorp.
Yeah. Hey, geeks
John,
and drinks.
That story is so good. It might be the best in that book. I haven't read it in a while, but it's the one that always stood out to me. It's just, and I think they did it with IG-11 really well in Mandalorian, how he walks in and he is just, those stormtroopers are firing at him, but he's turning to protect Grogu, and he's just like not even steering the speeder bike with his hands, and he's just like, his arms are just all over the place, cold and calculating, blowing stuff up. Great stuff. And then of course voiced by Taika Waititi, or however you say his name. I've read so Corey, I read a little bit of Invincible. I had an ex-girlfriend who collected them, and I read the first few volumes, and I don't want to spoil stuff, but I left on a pretty gruesome scene that was a big reveal for Omni-Man. I think it's in that the Invincible's dad, Mustache Superman, in the Guardians of the Globe. Something happened to them that wasn't too fun. I always Kirkman's humor is always great. I love the scene when I can't remember her name, but his female love interest came in and was like crying on his shoulder and literally like started crying in his lap, and his mom walks in and thinks he's getting head, and it's just amazing. Comedic timing like that is really hard to do in comics, and Kirkman does a really good job with it, and I loved it. It was a good, mildly inappropriate joke for him. He does not write a lot of stuff for kids.
Yeah.
Who did Chainsaw Man? Sounds familiar. Is that a manga, or am I wrong about that? But I mean, clearly I read comics. I think I've only read like 32 books this year because I've been reading so many comics, and I've just been blowing through trades left and right and just dissecting them and trying to do more research, as it were, before I hit 600 trades. There's part of me that would love to do like a comic reading group with everybody. Like, hey guys, we're going to meet up once a month and we're going to talk about this book. But you get into people who can't afford the books. You get into, which I guess you could bootleg them.
That ain't cool.
You get into, shoot, I hope people start bootlegging our books. Like,
it's different. That's all.
I'd be like, yeah. But,
however you got to read it, bro.
No, man, I love manga. I definitely, Scoot and I had we can call it what it was. It was a weeb-ass phase. We were super weeaboos, and we went to anime conventions. We dressed up like characters. We read nothing but manga. We watched anime. Like, a guy, it used to be we'd download a new... So, talking about bootlegging, we probably deserve, like, time at Rikers for how much we downloaded anime. Ooh, BitTorrents were the bomb.
But hey, in our defense, a lot of those were fan subs because they weren't over here.
Yeah, true. Yeah, like... We talked to, I had a friend who was like, you should read My Hero Academia. And I was like, oh yeah. And she's like, I read the latest chapter. I was like, oh, what fan site did you read it on? She's like, Viz Media or whatever. And I was like, oh, like it's just the latest one to come out over here. She's like, no, they translate and have it out the same week usually. And we used to have fan people sub it. And then like when Naruto started coming out over here on Cartoon Network, we were so far ahead that we didn't care.
Yeah.
We were ultra, I think I topped out about 300 manga. And
I still got a bunch of mine.
I sold off a ton of mine. I kept a few. Kazuyo Minakuru is always going to be a mangaka I'll support. Her art was so good. A lot of like not subtle homoerotica overtones in it. But really great stories, really fun and unique. Her adaptation of The Journey to the West was super fun. Gosh, I'm trying to think of what that was called.
Oh God. I have a wall scroll of Goku.
Yeah, Son Goku's in it, and they drove a jeep that turned into a dragon.
Because I have some of the Salty Dog art books.
Because there was a second volume of it, but yeah, Salty Dog. She did Salty Dog art books. Her art style was very different, very fun, and I kept a few of those. Trying to think what else. I think I kept Genshiken. And then now I have all of Full Metal Alchemist, because I probably mentioned it before, but Full Metal Alchemist is a complete and perfect story. He said Scooter Sailor Moon. Oh, John, I've got old school player in the chat. Oh my God. Haven't seen you in a while. John, yeah.
Oh, hey, Mark. How's it going, man?
I got, God help me, but I'm a member of Books A Million, and they do sales all the time, and the Books A Million in South Haven used to have an incredible bargain trade section where they were like omnibuses for like $7. And it sucks now. And it sucks because Mark and I bought everything out of there. There were more than a few times where we didn't plan it, and I was just like sitting there through the trade section. He's like, you find anything good? I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, I'll stop it on my way home from work. And we just wipe it out. But they'd also do buy two, get one free. And then when you're a member, you get these great coupons, and you can just go in there and tag team those things. And I got there's like 6 Hellboy omnibuses that cover the entire series, from like all the side stories from the Seeds of Destruction through Hellboy in Hell, plus all the side stories, not the BPRD stuff like spinoffs, but all the main Hellboy things. And they're usually expensive, but I think I got all 6 of them for like, I don't know, maybe 60, $70 because of just compound, like knocking them all out. Haven't read through them all yet, but it's going to be one of those where I'll just like stick them all on my bedside table and knock them out over a few weeks. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Books a Million is the bomb. Like, if I usually hit them up anywhere where I go, just hoping for good deals like that. It's still, you can still find them occasionally, but we definitely weakened the one here. Like, if I feel bad if some comic guy comes from out of town and hits South Haven Books a Million, like, wow, this one really sucks. And I'm just like, well, whoops.
Yeah, I had never attended a free comic book day until one time I happened to be off, and I went with Brad, and it was impressive.
Oh yeah, like I think that was, and I think I went light that. You only spent like $250. Dude, and that's like the seller. I go in there because I can just bargain with them, and Jason's pretty cool about it. But yeah, go in there, and I bought the entire Gauntlet line of Spider-Man one year. Gosh, I got almost all of JMS's Spidey run through that. I mean, that's what. So free comic book day. I'm gonna be out of town because it's this weekend. So I'm gonna hit some places in Orlando, because there's like Banff, and I think there's a place just called the Comic Shop or a Comic Shop. Pretty cool place. Orlando, yeah.
The Acme comic.
Oh yeah, they do, absolutely. And
that's where I bought my first 3 issues of the first Carnage arc.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna go and hit up some of those, but also I'm gonna have Mark keep an eye out because there's a variant cover at 901 and a Scarlet Spider statue that if they're like, hey, statues are 25% off, I'm gonna need him to leave with it.
Make a bad decision for me, Mark.
No, I'll send him the money, but dude, Art Jedi. No, it's Gabe. Iker lives in Orlando, I think.
Iker does.
And I'm going there. I have a cousin who lives in Winter Park. So tomorrow, sometime around about 8 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm just gonna, I guess in the evening, I'm gonna start heading over there and get out to you guys super early in the morning. And I'll be there until the 22nd. I'm gonna spend a little time in Miami, but I'm mostly just gonna be hanging around. I might be at MegaCon with Iker on Sunday. Are you in Florida? I mean, I'd come and high five, and maybe I can high five Scoot. And
hey, what's up, Art Jedi? How you doing, man? Mark,
Mark, you didn't take off for the High Holy Day?
There's a
Pigman is disappointed.
Okay, so just to be clear, there's 2 Marks in here. The old school
Mark
player
Winchester.
is Mark. Yeah.
MKW, Mark Winchester Jr.
Yeah, little Mark. Or just Mark now. But yeah, there's probably 0 chance we're going to New York Comic Con.
Oh man, yeah.
I hadn't had time to plan that. It definitely wasn't on the list for this year because I wasn't sure who was going to be opening and what was going to be opening, blah, 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 blah. But next year, as long as shit doesn't keep catching fire like it is, me and Brad want to hit some conventions.
Yeah, even if we're just there, like, just hanging out, man. Like, that's what Iker said. Brad, you coming to MegaCon? I was like, man, I don't know. I mean, the South is kind of like patient zero. And he's like, oh, man, I'm just going to go there, mask up, and do some comic shopping. I'm like, ooh, comic shopping. So, they don't go into MegaCon. Well, Gabe, if you decide to come out, man, 40 minutes isn't far. Like, I'm going to be about an hour from the beach, and you better believe I'm going like 6 times while I'm there. I don't care about driving. I drive 45 minutes to come to Scoot's house to do these streams, and shoot, half the times I come out here just to play volleyball. Like, it's...
Yeah, we're hoping 2022 is like an awesome year, because going into early 2020, Brad and I were starting to look at a bunch of different conventions. We started looking at booth prices, and we started making a list of booths, and then the world caught fire.
Yeah, because I was planning on taking, like, I'll just start taking Fridays off because I got the weekends off.
Yeah, we were gonna start traveling.
Gabe, if we need to find a place to meet in the middle, you, me, and Iker, man, I'll buy a beer for you guys or whatever you drink.
I'm about to quit my job and come with you guys.
We can all, meet up and rub some creative energy off of each other. I like the idea of meeting up with folks I've talked to over the internet for like a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah, we'll keep Iker in a little bubble.
Yeah, where is Iker? Why is he not in here?
We gave him plenty of warning this time. Maybe Iker will strap the kayak to the old stang and we'll go out and do some swamp rolling. John, the guy in our with the Imperial logo, that guy got into the 501st. He's one of the he's got a TK number and everything, and even got to go to a convention to show it off. He's a TIE pilot, like. Man, he could like I do cosplay Memphis where we dress up with. I don't do it as much as my sister because she's part of the board of that, but it was cool. I used to dress up as the Winter Soldier and go talk to sick kids. But how relevant will my costume be this year? Like, cool. But yeah, I'll be there for a good seven full days and 2 partials because I gotta leave early on Sunday. But yeah, we'll dude, I'd meet up. I like the idea of. We can meet up and sit 8 feet from each other, and I got a loud ass mouth. I can talk.
They know. Everybody knows.
Yeah, honestly, Gabe, like my best ideas for comics come when I'm driving home at night. You know, I turn on some music, out the windows down, I'm just rolling back out to Midtown, and I'm just sitting here thinking. By the time I get home, I have to like stop and write down a bunch of notes for stories I came up with, just because, and that's how it happens. But oh, our Jedi, yeah, chocolate milk, Scoot.
That's 100%.
So right now,
correct.
I'm keeping Corey happy. I'm drinking sweet tea because I'm Southern.
Chocolate milk. There's nothing better.
I think we scared him and Iker when we were like, yeah, we'd give up sweet tea before milk. Scoot, I think that's another club we're part of, the Milk of the Month Club.
So I was sitting here just now and I was thinking, I was like, man, I'm thirsty. There's some chocolate milk in the refrigerator. I literally feel like I'm about to get up and go get some.
Yeah, it's milk for sure. I mean, Scoot and I usually Christmas I'll go and buy go to Whole Foods or some like super hipster market and buy ultra organic, delicious glass bottle chocolate milk, and we'll have it in wine glasses and drink it like the fancy guys we are.
We'll just have a toast with chocolate milk.
Talk about, you know, the stocks and the estate of the foreign affairs. I don't know what's classy. We just talk about comics like always. Yeah. That or something Star Wars. Yeah, I'm not gonna go like, you know, Gabe, if you were like, hey, let's meet at this rave, it's gonna be like 400 folks deep. Yeah, I'm not gonna be there. But
Brad only raves with 300 folks deep.
Yeah, 300 or below. Otherwise, it's just too inclusive. Yeah, I like the idea of hanging out and seeing folks.
Damn, if y'all hang out, I'm gonna be jealous as hell.
Just a picture of all of us like, where's Scoot at? You can still quit tomorrow and make the trip with me.
Amazing.
Oh, Nesquik right, chocolate milk. So, yeah, I'm actually, that's good because I'm on a prohibition thing for a diet for a training program I'm in for doing 50Ks. So I'm cool with not drinking alcohol, but I'll have beer if people are doing it.
What we should start doing at the end of all the streams is just having a chocolate milk toast.
Oh man.
To close out the streams.
Little like a health and comic writing or something.
Corey, you're right. Hey, get in here. What's the point of having a wife if she can't bring you chocolate milk? All right, so picture update. So we've got the whole thing laid out. Well, I'll say laid out. We've got the whole thing lined. So we're about to start in on some detail here. And there go the dogs.
Taking a gaze in real close at it.
Yeah, so we're about to... I think I'm going to go ahead and start rendering Venom. He's going to take the longest. So we'll see how far we get by the time our 2 hours is up. Because 2 hours seems like a good time. So we're going to start in on him.
Hey, pups.
The rabbit. Is the rabbit outside? All right.
Time for the best part, rendering.
Well, first I need to kind of lay in the muscle groups.
Lay in the muscle groups.
Yeah, so I can kind of see where I'm going with
everybody in this chat. There's so many people I just want to go to a convention and be like, oh my god, there's the face to that, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna need people to have like a shirt with their avatar on it so I know who they are.
My name is the Art Jedi.
Yeah, the Art Jedi. It'd be like, gosh, when we used to play Super Smash Bros. Melee competitively, you know, this was geez, back before everybody had cell phones. So you call home phones and be like, hey, is Iori there? And they're like, who?
Yeah.
Like, Iori? He said he lived there. He gave me his number. Like,
He's really good at Smash.
who's Iori? That's me, Mom. Oh, okay. And like, to this day, half the people I still call by their gamer tag.
Yeah.
Like Zane, there's no way I'm calling him John. It's he's never gonna be John Kirkpatrick. He's Zane. He's Prince Zane.
Good dude.
That'll be the same thing. I just everybody will have to do it'd be their if they got a fun name. Like same with Hayashi. He'll never be Nathan. He's Hayashi to us.
Yeah.
Corey is his name changes depending on the mood of the day.
Depending on something stupid he says.
So Corey sent me a package that apparently had such a rude name on it. They sent it back, which I have to say is impressive. Oh my gosh, everybody's making me want some chocolate milk.
I know, man. I'm foaming at the mouth like Venom over here.
I'm over here locked in like a
Brad can't get up.
Like a reform school kid.
So funny. Before the streams, we literally say, "All right, ready to lock in?" Because I don't know if you guys can see it, but Brad has
I have a table.
He has a table right there, and he can't move because the microphone's on it and his laptop's on it. So he's literally just stuck there. If he wants to cross his legs, he's fucked. So.
I've offered to bring a school desk over, but
yeah.
That way I could get in and out if there's a bathroom break or a fire.
If there's a fire, you can't get that off your lap. You deserve to die.
There's a fire. I'm grabbing your absolute carnage pencil and jumping out the window.
And Colonel Hottie.
Oh, Colonel Hottie. All right, everybody. That's a good one. We always make jokes about it. Like, I don't want serious answers in here. Like, sure, if your house catches fire, you get the kids and animals out. Your house catches fire. What are you grabbing on the way out? Mine always say, there's 3 things I'm grabbing on the way out. I'm putting on my leather jacket. I've had that thing for 8 years. If you've never worn a broken in leather jacket, you haven't lived. It is so comfortable. It is warm during the winter. Oh, and boy, is it stylish. Like, I have to watch where I wear that thing. People, the honeys be swarming. Then I'm gonna I've got a complete set of the Animal Crossing cards from when they did e-cards back during the GameCube era. Put a lot of effort into that. And then I'm grabbing my, there's actually an original art stack. It's Gary Brown's Iron Patriot I have. Scarlet Spider by Ryan Stegman and Scoot's homage to the Iron Spider homage of Michael Turner. So, man, when the fire, you have to have those things in the same spot. So when the fire hits, it's all reflex. It's no stop, drop, and roll, and you can replace those things. I'm getting burned getting that thing out of the house. Mm-hmm. All my original art. That's right, Skibo. I've got a couple of portfolios that I just, God, if it went up in smoke, that's so much money of stuff, and like, I would be so sad. Like, if I lost my comics, or my trades. I've got, like I said, I think I'm up to 576 on trades. I'd be super sad because some of those are out of print. Some of them are super rare. But man, my original art.
Not to mention it costs a lot of money.
That's okay, Art Jedi. If you go pro, man, we can rename you. They were trying to rename me on the Page One comic thing. They were trying to give me a nickname because they thought it was unfair. Scoot had such a cool one, and I'm just Brad. So we can always come up with something for you. No, Mark. So if you don't know, Mark's WoW name used to be Hot Asian Chick.
Did it really?
And he said he had a Canadian call my house looking for a hot Asian girl. Oh my god. Somehow I can't imagine that Mrs. Winchester was too surprised. He has a family of like punk rockers, and that's all I know about him. His family is a mystery to me. Like if our life is a movie or a sitcom or a comic, there's gonna be like one day where it's like Mark Winchester's family finally revealed, and they're gonna show him. Never seen him, even though like I guess I've met his nephew, because that's what is Dahmer's real name?
Jeffrey.
No. Tony. His damn name's Tony Stark. How did I forget that? Yeah. So Mark Winchester's nephew's name is Tony Stark Machado, because our friend Mark Machado is a huge Iron Man fan, and he carries his idea around to prove people wrong. When they're like, "You wouldn't name your kid that," like, boom. So I'm really gonna use that as if I ever firstborn son, here he comes, Scott Summer Starnes, and then call him Slim. I think I can wing that one maybe. All right, Scoot, you take the reins. What you got now?
I'm still thinking about chocolate milk.
Let's talk about the.
Let's talk about chocolate milk. If you guys had to list the top tiers of chocolate milk, like what brands are we going with?
You have to like put it in and smell, like, get the aroma.
You gotta chew it, spit it out.
Oh no, you
spit out chocolate milk, you're dead to
say,
me.
Like, whoever said there's no point crying over spilled milk clearly didn't like milk enough.
Yeah.
Because I spill milk, I'm gonna be sad. One, because it stains and stinks, but
I'm sad when other people spill milk.
Yeah. You come in and somebody's just left a glass of milk to get hot on the bedside table, and you're like, I'm gonna kill somebody.
Yeah. Someone's dying.
Gabe, you got any? You said you got some original art. Who do you got some cool stuff from? I mean, you got like artists, or is it your artwork? Because I'm sure you've got a ton of that. I'm just curious. I'm wondering what you buy, because I've got a few that I really enjoy, and some couple I'm looking at. Dude, Prairie Farms here I think it's pretty local. I think it's more of a southern thing. Prairie Farms chocolate milk.
Super good.
Good.
I'm a big fan of Kroger's brand too.
Yeah. I am a chocolate milk slut.
Give me chocolate milk, I'm gonna drink.
Yeah, I have low standards. Like, it's like Owen Wilson in Starsky and Hutch. Like, let's get this right. Which one do you want? He's like, oh, you had a good thing for blank. Good, because I'll take anything.
Because I'll take whatever. I love that movie.
Oh no, okay, Mark. So I don't know. Do they consider it organic? But gosh, what is that? We like Horizon. Horizon makes an organic chocolate milk, Mark. Okay, we're supposed to have a Kublai Khan date sometime soon.
Y'all drinking chocolate milk.
I'm gonna bring some chocolate milk. I'm gonna bring some Horizon chocolate milk, because I remember. So Scoot and I, this is gonna be the most exciting story I tell all night. Scoot and I went and talked to went to hang out with one of our cousins in Atlanta once. Like, we were in Atlanta for like a family thing, and our cousin wanted us to come over and check out. He's a huge nerd. He does the Retro Blasting YouTube page on here. Super nerd. So we get in there and we talk about nerdy stuff like we do, it just compounds. And he was like, hey, I heard you guys like chocolate milk, so we bought some. Scoot and I were Scooby-Dooing our asses, just feet running in place to get to his fridge. And we get there and we look at it, and we're staring into it like we've been betrayed. It's just this organic milk. And I was like,
I thought we were family, bitch.
This rich hippie, like, loser, he bought us Horizon organic chocolate milk, and then we drank it, and it was like, like,
it was a Ratatouille moment.
Age of Aquarius started playing in the background. Doves were singing. A light shined through the window, even though it was nighttime. That stuff is the bomb.
It is so.
It is also expensive. So
and we
don't buy it often.
We drank that whole carton that night, like in like 20 minutes.
Oh, Gabe said he has a Brett Booth original. That's cool, from Bloodshot. Awesome.
Damn, that's cool. Brett Booth has one of those styles that I wish I could do. His movement is just like nobody's better.
What? Mark, he said he almost quit because they have Horizon. All right, Mark. I guess
we're starting to learn things.
I guess we're Greco-Roman wrestling next time we're over there. Old school. It's a pancration from the original Olympics. Naked, oiled up, nothing's illegal but fish hooking each other.
God.
Ooh, he said you got a Mando from Finch?
Like,
our Jedi? How did I miss that?
Wow. If I had an original David Finch.
Yeah. We had to stop a guy we saw at Expo because he got one of the Finch like pre-con drawings. Oh, that thing was beautiful. Looking into it was just like staring into somebody's baby blues. It just shook my soul.
Closest I've gotten is to David Finch saying my artwork was good.
Yeah.
Which is pretty rad too.
He actually looked at it, took his glasses off, wiped a tear away, and handed Scoot his pencil. He said, "You're in charge now."
He didn't.
Well, that's how I'm telling it. I can see that, Mark, man. Sometimes poor, like, man, gosh, what are they called? Trying to think of the official name. I can't remember. I think I know what it is. Let me see. Yeah, so we grew up poor too. Corn Pops are good.
Yukon
But
Gold.
Yukon Gold is the top. You go to Save-A-Lot and buy some Yukon Gold. You never had something so generic that's so good.
If we could get on a whole nother cereal, like a whole nother kick on cereal, like a whole nother discussion.
You know, with my diet now, all I eat is Chex Mix or like Chex. I just eat those and don't go for anything else because I'll eat it too fast. We are literally talking about chocolate milk original art cereal. Got to keep the dead air away though.
That's what these streams are about.
Yeah,
That's why it's called the Weekly BS.
yeah. I guess we need to start calling it that.
Yeah.
The original art I have Gary Brown. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember who wrote it. Alex Knott? I think it's Cott. Could be wrong. Wrote a short-lived 6-issue Iron Patriot series where Rhodey took over as the Iron Patriot. It had some fun ideas behind it. Once again, just didn't land, but Gary Brown's art was on point. Also, right after Scott Summers, James Rhodes is my favorite character. So anything he's in, I don't like him as the War Machine. I like him as James Rhodes. So whatever form he takes. Now, I liked him when Hickman made him the War Machines, where he was controlling an entire fleet. That was really fun. I think him and Nick Spencer did that because he was from the Secret Avengers at the time. But I've got a cool double-page spread of him flying through. And what I like about it is you got the cool Iron Patriot like armor in the picture with a bunch of monsters he's fighting. And then you got Rhodey's face in the HUD in its own panel. So you still can see it's Rhodey. There's no like mistaking it for Norman Osborn. And so I really enjoyed that piece. Funny enough, 2-page spread only cost me like $300. Then I have, I think it's issue 2, page 6, the full page of Scarlet Spider, Kane Parker breaking through a window to go fight. I think it's the Salamander. Super good. I still think it holds up as one of his best pieces. Great piece of art.
For sure.
And then I have some commissions. I got, like I said, I got Brian. We've talked about it before. I got a Brian Level piece at Expo when he was just there. Still didn't have much of. He had a name, like he was well known, but I just people didn't know who he was, so I snuck in and got a commission from him. Super cool, Samus Aran. Like it's super cool. Gosh, who was the gentleman I got? Han or what's his name? His first name? Gene Ha. Gene Ha. I got a Racer X Cyclops from him, and I got a Jim Chung. Like he does stuff where he dumps art on his like Big Cartel or some site he has, and dude, you have to be fast because it sells out immediately. And I got a 90 Cyclops from him. I talk about 90 Cyclops as my favorite, but it's Jim Chung. I don't care which Cyclops he draws me. It's super cool. I've got some more like smaller stuff like can't think of his name. He's Painless on Instagram.
I know who you're talking.
He does the posters for Memphis Comic Expo and a lot of local conventions, and I got him to do. He does mostly Sam Payne. He does mostly digital art, and I asked for a commission, and I asked for it to be original. Like he does original art too, but nobody ever gets that from him. They just get digitals, and he just emails them to him. And I asked him to do one of the Phoenix Force Emma Frost, and it is exceptional. It's a Phoenix Force Emma Frost, and she's floating Cyclops' visor. Super cool.
Really cool.
Of course, I've got Scoot's art. I used to be the biggest collector of Scoot's art, but I think a few people have passed me these days because we sold most of my collection off. There's a few, like the Bigfoot you did for my birthday one year, the Annihilus, which still is incredible. That's like one day when you're working for Marvel or Marvel just wants variant covers from you, we can be like, hey, are you doing an Annihilus story? We got one.
I got a picture for.
Yeah, you could just redo that. And who else do I have art from? I love buying art just from people who are just, hey, this is my first convention. I don't know if I got, okay, cool. What you gonna draw me? I got a really cool book. I've got like an accordion art book I found somewhere, and it's called X Memphis, and it's just a bunch of local Memphis artists. and I'd just give it to him and say, draw me whatever X-Men you want, as long as they were part of the X-Men, which is everybody. You can put them in there, and I've got like 1 or 2 spaces to fill in it. Really fun book. A lot of cool character in that.
I drew Nightcrawler.
Yep. So did Greg Cravens.
Poser.
Yeah. He sketched so fast you didn't even realize. He was like, oh, let me look at everybody else. Oh man, I'm almost done. Do I need to erase? I was like, no, you're good.
Yes, you do.
That's Corey, that's ballsy, inking over somebody's stuff like that. If my I know Scoot and I did a high res scan of that Stegman page from Scarlet Spider. I just don't know where it's at. It's got to be on a hard drive somewhere, but it's never coming out of that glass. Yeah, I frame, like, I think we mentioned it before, but I want to make a video here for Scoot's channel about how to frame your pictures, frame your original art safely, securely, but inexpensively compared to, like, I framed, so I guess full disclosure, I framed that that Stegman piece as soon as I got back from France, and it cost me $250 to frame it. It's an exceptional frame job, but I could do passably close to it now, and I can do it for like $30, and that's with a really good frame. So John said it's looking awesome.
Thanks, man.
He's almost done. He's just gonna render the head and let Corey do the rest.
Yeah.
Is this one getting inked or?
I don't know, honestly.
Okay.
I told the dude that
I guess, are the originals getting inked? Because I'm sure you're going to scan this and Corey's going to ink them as fast as possible to be the first one up.
and Matt's still gonna beat him.
Quite abs. Which, I don't know if you guys have seen Scoot's Deadpool sketch, but that thing is absolutely exploding.
I don't know what's going on with that thing. It is crazy. And it sounds bad because I'm like, God, it's getting 1,000 likes. Like, I'm bitching about it. I'm not bitching about it because that's amazing and I'm super happy everybody's doing that. But it's just, it blows my mind. Like, when I post this one up, this one may be because it's Spider-Man Venom, it may do better. But, you know, I posted up that Phoenix that I worked freaking hard on. And it barely got anything. It got like 120 likes.
Yeah, I mean, like, comparison, the B-movie saga, oh, that's a stream, never mind, we can't compare it to that. Wonder Woman got 163. Damn, Deadpool is in 1,063.
And look at this.
That man has got, dude, you've gotten over 100 followers from that. You can say it's other stuff, but that is...
So here it is, and it's tiny. Like, look at this. Like, here's my pencil. Like, it's small. It's just a little small sketch. Like,
we're putting a $90 price tag on that.
Here's
first
my hand.
he goes
like,
to.
look, my hand covers it. Like, it's nothing major. But I guess maybe it's just the character.
Do you have a pen, like just a crappy pen I can use to write stuff down? But yeah, he went from like 12:15 to 13:30 in a span of 2 days for that damn Deadpool.
Don't have it. Oh, let's see if that one works.
Oh, it does. I'm just thinking of stuff that we need to discuss afterwards. But yeah, I mean, that thing is pulling its weight. So,
Sure
which also, Hayashi, if you're still in the stream, on my post with your artwork, there's somebody who says promoted on @itscuterelationship.com if you want to get down on that. You and me can be on there. Might be a little risque. I think you're underage.
Maybe your foot in the door.
Yeah, Gabe, I can see that. I bet you have the exact same problem with Scoot. You're gonna post like here's my body sketch, and people are like, whoa, 6,000 likes, and you're like, here's this fully detailed, so much detail, Scoot's in awe, and you're like 12 likes. It's just so weird.
Brad always jokes with me because on Instagram, one of my most liked posts is a picture.
It's the fourth now.
It's the picture that I posted when I hurt my hand, yet I was still drawing. So I posted a picture of my hand and an ace bandage with my pencil, and saying, "Hey, I still got to draw even though I'm hurt." That thing, what did it get, like 1,000 something likes? It was crazy.
Yeah, and it's at 646, I think. So what I'm hoping is that one day, a couple of years down the road, even, we're just, comics are taking off. We got a good dedicated fan base. We're not nothing crazy. We're not breaking the bank or anything. But then we've got a good following to where they're loyal, like almost like last podcast on the left's group, where like I can tell them to go, brush a building and they'll do it for me. And all I want to do is just post that thing, like repost it as a story like every month and be like, hey, anybody who's new here, make sure you go and like this wrist post because we want it to be his most liked post ever.
And when he says we, he means him.
Me,
not me.
I was furious when that Spawn head sketch beat it, and then a Venom one did too. Who remembers Bosco? I'm not sure I remember Bosco.
I remember Bosca.
Bosk, yeah. Oh, different Bosk.
I was thinking when Jabba says, let's go, Bosca.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I just heard Bosk instead. Bosco's chicken and waffles. Yeah, the Scoot and I always talk about that because it's the same thing. His most liked post, actually, I think now Deadpool beat it, was his Invincible sketch card. Your time lapse of it. I don't even know it was a time lapse. Oh my god, 60,000 followers, or 1 million views and 60,000 followers in one day.
What is that?
Because Gabe said that he had a friend who posted a video of him working on a manga.
Wow.
I'm almost to 300 followers on Instagram. What?
I just got over 1,300.
What's funny is it's because I've been actually posting comic stuff, so I'm getting more comic folks. But at the same time, I'm also posting a lot of stuff to do with my running group and the stuff we're doing. We're putting on like a 5K, and we're just being real active in our community. And so now I'm getting people who run marathons, and all these people. I'm getting my two worlds, and they're building up together. On Will, cool. See you, Hayashi. Ooh, Bob Layton. That's
see you, man.
Cool.
Have a good one.
I was looking for gosh, I'm gonna have to look his name up because I don't want to get it wrong. I have been on a real big Spider-Girl kick, Mayday Parker, and I been reading through. I've got the third and I think final, unless they print the later stuff. This is the final complete collection, which I'm taking with me on vacation to read. And I've been on a real big kick, so I've been trying to get some artwork. I've been trying to find some original art. Ron Friends did the original one. I'm trying to find out. There's a guy who drew most of the series. And for the life of me, I can't. Oh, Mark Bagley designed her costume. Oh. So she's something about Spider-Girl. A little fact is she doesn't have an original suit. She's wearing Ben Reilly's suit from when he was the sensational Spider-Man. And so Mark Bagley gets a little credit for her, I guess.
That's cool.
Gosh, who that? I'll find it here in a second. Because I love Mayday Parker. Like, that's one of those things, if I can get away with like naming a kid something, I have a girl, name her May and call her Mayday, that'd be awesome. Probably why I won't get to name any children. But I love that series. I've got What If 115, the first appearance of her. Super, super cool stuff. I loved all the stuff they did with her with Spider-Verse and Spider-Geddon, bringing her in and making her important. It looks like that if you've ever read Spider-Girl, Peter Parker retired as Spider-Man because he lost his leg, and he decided his responsibility was to his family. So he's not Spider-Man anymore. But when the Inheritors came during Spider-Verse, they attacked his house trying to kill spider totems, because that's what they do. And Mayday got away, but Peter died. And it looked like MJ died at first too, but they found out she was alive. And at the end of Spider-Geddon, it looks like Peter Parker from her world, her dad, is about to become the Other, which is super fun if you're into that kind of stuff. I think like when I always talk about, I want to do my show, The Secrets of the Trades, where I just talk about a certain thing, and I want to do I always like one of my top episodes would be Mayday Parker, where I go through all of Spider-Girl. Because Tom DeFalco has some really fun stuff about before the Clone Saga got so convoluted, and Marvel editors decided that Peter Parker didn't need a kid, so they had Norman Osborn forcibly abort their child like 3 days before it was supposed to be born. Awful stuff. Like, man, I can't believe they got away with, like,
That's terrible.
They could have, yeah, like it was Norman poisoned MJ, but it wasn't to hurt her, it's just to kill their unborn kid. And I was just like, dude,
That's terrible.
that is not like, yeah, like I would get it if like maybe Norman made a deal with the devil and he turned back time. He did made a deal with Mephisto and turned back time and he stopped her from being born or something. Maybe. But dude, she just straight poisoned her at the Daily Grind where Ben Riley works. But I cannot believe I can't remember who. Somebody's probably saying it in the chat. I mean, but I'd love to do one just tracking her history because they did that. I think even during the Secret Wars when they were doing the Spider-Verse or the Web Warriors, they did a new Spider-Girl story in the back with Tom DeFalco. Look this up. One moment, guys. Sorry for the pause. Gonna have to stop. What's his name? Pat O'Leaf or O'Teef?
Olaf.
Olaf. There you
Pat
go.
Olaf.
I don't know if people who read a lot get it, but you get words where you like words and names where you read them in your head forever, and then you have to say them out loud, and you're like, That was when I read Harry Potter. I read the whole book, and I never said Hermione, and when I had to say it out loud, I was like, Granger? Yeah, that's him. I found some art, but it's hard to find. Like some of the older people, they're hard to track down their stuff. But what I would hope is one day I'd catch him at a convention and get him to buy it. Like I am blanking on names today. He did a lot of stuff, but he did the first few issues of Avengers Academy and did the covers with Christos Gage.
The one that did your Giant Man?
Yeah. I have a Giant Man sketch from him. I'm gonna remember his name. Give me a second here. Because I've got to send. Christos Gage gave me a comic shop. So if you guys don't know,
Brad and Christos Gage are best friends.
I am a stalker. I love Christos Gage. Like, there's something about his stories. He never goes too crazy. He's almost Mark and I were talking about it where sometimes they're just like, hey, write this tie-in for Spider-Man because Dan Slott doesn't want to, and he's like, okay. Like he's using these characters. He's like super like they're not even C-list characters, like L-list characters. Terrible stuff, but he writes the most fun stuff, the most compelling stories. His character moments are so good, and then he always respects the canon. Like there's a great thing where like he treated Hank Pym so well. Like he didn't try to retcon like the slap where he hit Janet. He made him own up to it and try to be better, which is just great storytelling. But I've been trying to get his autograph on that book forever, and he's just never been at conventions I go to. And finally, I was just like, I posted something about finishing the complete collection of Avengers Academy. I accidentally reminded him of his dead cats, and I jokingly asked him if I could get his autograph, and he said he wasn't going to any conventions, but he gave me a comic shop to mail it to, his local comic shop, and he said you can mail stuff there. He'll pick it up, sign it, and mail it back to you. So I've got to send that off. But the better news is I know he lives within driving distance of that comic shop, so I know he lives somewhere near South Carolina, and
you guys want to at him on Twitter and tell him that Brad's coming for him?
Oh yeah, no. I just want like him to DM me one day and be like, "Hey, cool, good story, bro." Oh. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. I don't want to look it up. I hate it. I'm trying not to use the hive mind. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
I'm trying to remember it too.
Just finished the Avengers Academy complete collection read through.
He posts a lot.
I don't know if I follow him. Oh, I follow him on Twitter, but Twitter is just a DM thing. Like if you guys post stuff on there, you never get my like because unless I see Scoop post about this and I retweet it, that's the only thing I do on there. I'm just looking it up. We can't do with this dead air. Mike McCone. How the hell did I forget that?
That's it.
His Giant Man he drew for me so good. He looks so serene in it. It's just awesome.
Yeah, one day we're gonna we need to do some kind of stream, maybe an Instagram live from Brad's place, so he can show you his collection of stuff. I could pick up a camera and show you my room right now, but there's covers all over the wall to try to try to get rid of some of the echo in here.
It looks like we're building a blanket for
It does. Literally on top of this camera, there's a blanket sitting on it. It's working okay until I can get some acoustic paneling and
yeah, man, I tell Scoot all the time is I like Twitter and Instagram because I spend a lot of time curating it, especially Twitter. Instagram's a little more like friends, and then I have a lot of running stuff on there. Twitter, I try to cultivate nothing but a comic community on there, and even like if people get super political and all they post is political stuff and they don't post like comic things or anything related or even just have fun, I removed them. Not out of any disrespect towards them or their opinion, left, right, middle, whatever. That's not what I come to Twitter for. But even then, like I take it's like a garden. You spend so much time making it beautiful and keeping all the weeds out, and inevitably something pops up, and I just gave up and let mine overgrow with weeds. And so I have a couple of DM stuff I'm doing in there. I got to get with Aaron because I'm hoping him and I have a DM in there that we use occasionally, but I want to use it as kind of a collaboration information dump after each of the live streams with Scott Snyder that we're part of now, that we're doing his course. I want to get with him and kind of throw stuff back and forth because he's got a good mind for that kind of storytelling, and I think it'll be fun to, oh well, I got this out of it and I didn't even think of that, and we'll throw it back and forth. So it'll be a good little it'll be like a after school study group.
Twitter's been really hard for me to get followers too, because I know it's like a game a lot of times too, where you're tagging other artists and stuff that are big and hoping for the retweet and all that, which if I have a reason to, I'll do it, but I don't do it without. Some people will draw a picture of Venom and be like, hey, I just drew this picture of Venom, but really loved what Don Cates and Ryan Stegman were doing, just to get the retweet, and I don't play that game.
Yeah, I get it. Like,
if you do,
like, I mean, when you did the J. Scott Campbell redraw, that made sense, tagging, but I'll see people who will draw like Batman and they're like, this is my Batman, can't wait for Ryan Stegman to draw him one day. Like, dude, you didn't need to tag Stegman. Leave him alone. And that's, I usually try to limit, I guess if you look back, probably most of my posts I tag Christos Gage, because really I'm not stalking him. I'm trying to spread the gospel of Gage and teach everybody how good he is. He was on there railing for like trying to start a trend to get Marvel to give him a Hank Pym series, and boy would I buy that in a heartbeat. I'd probably be like, all right, I need you to pull 30 copies of these. I need them to think this is the best-selling book ever. Like, outsell X-Men #1. The 90s X-Men #1.
Jim Lee Junt.
Yeah. Jim Lee and Chris Claremont. Yeah, I get that, and like I love it. Like I still think the only time I went on Twitter recently,
all my stuff's about comics. I only follow comic stuff on
all
Twitter.
Comics, and all trying to be positive. I spent a little time trolling He Who Must Not Be Named. That was fun, but then like I jumped on there when that guy was trying to troll Corey, but Corey had him. I should have known. So it's yeah, it's really weird. I don't know. I think when Scoot and I have more content, we'll start pumping out some stuff. We got to post the covers and the inks and all that for the B Movie Saga. And it's just, I don't know. Maybe I feel like everybody who follows me probably follows Scoot, except for like Ian Punnett. And so I don't have to promote as much. He can do it for me.
The tides are turning. Brad used to run all my pages.
Oh, I ran his Tumblr that we started years back. I ran your second Facebook art page because someone else started one for you.
Yeah.
And posted stuff kind of outside of your wheelhouse. Stuff that wasn't exactly true. I used to tell you what to draw because I'd be like, hey, this is popular, draw this. This is what's going on. You were a little out of comics, so I'd catch you up on knowledge, but you've been reading more with me. Even if you're a little behind.
Very, very behind.
With the trade paperback culture now. Like, it used to be you had to read single issues because that's what everybody had to keep up with. But now people read comics so out of order. You know, like you read Life Story, and that story is what, 2-3 years old now.
It was amazing.
Doesn't detract from how good it is. The only things you really have to worry about are the big summer stories. Like, you have to read Absolute Carnage or somebody's gonna spoil the damn story. Oh man, I appreciate that, Gabe. Yeah, we'll post up. I suppose. I guess John's working on the colors for the cover right now.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of going from there. I think he's going to try to finish up by September, sometime in September is the loose goal. We'll look and find out how to print it. We're still trying to decide if we're going to reprint the first story in the back, just as kind of like, hey, all these people who we didn't know because we sold them all in Memphis, basically. We can reprint the first story, maybe get it full color this time, and then redo the lettering. Then we'll print at least the pencils in the back so Scoot can show them off. But we will definitely print that, and it'll be, I think at most, it was originally going to be a 16-page comic just because we'd have the story and then reprint of it in pencil. And I think we might get that thing up to like a 32-page thick boy issue. But we're going to be operating at a loss on purpose for that. We're going to charge like $5 shipped. And maybe if you're out of country, we'll do a little more. But same with, like, I don't care. Aaron's already said he'll put some in his comic shop out in, I think he's in London, or he's somewhere near London. He's somewhere in the UK. He's in the UK, and I'm American, so I assume it's London. Even if he was Scottish, I would assume it's London. But he, I don't expect him to Venmo us any money. I'm just gonna send him like 10 copies to him, throw it on the shelf, and pimp it out to people. You know, I'll probably send some to I know it's the Big Punch Studio guys over there.
Oh yeah,
John
Locke.
John Locke, yeah. I don't know how I forgot his name. They do Afterlife Incorporated. If you like cool indie comics with a fun twist, his book is so good. He was doing live streams for a while. I wish he'd go back to him. I loved him. I'll probably send them stuff just because they were always a big inspiration to me. They kind of showed me, like, don't worry about anybody picking your book up. Just Scoot, your head's all up in the way.
Yeah.
Your man bun was up in that thing.
Sorry, I'm really into this details.
Yeah, the arm looks great. Don't get me wrong. Just wanted to let you know. Yeah, they've always been a huge inspiration. I've always told them if I can, they do live in London. I know that for sure. I was like, if I ever show up over there again, I'm gonna buy them around. But yeah, we'll be pimping that thing out to anybody who will take it.
Especially the Aspen cover.
Well, the Aspen covers, yeah, I was talking about B-Movie Saga,
Yeah,
but
well, man,
we'll
I'll take all retweets. We're gonna be selling the hell out of that thing.
The print run on that is going to be low, so we're not going to. There probably won't be more than 300 printed, unless they're just like, hey, right now it's you can get 250 for X amount, and 500 is the same amount. We're not going to do it. So what we'll do is we'll print like 250, and we'll sell them to everybody. Hopefully, sell out of them, and on the we'll send them out to places. And if for some reason we do sell out, we are going to do a variant cover, a second printing variant cover, and then put it out so that you guys can say, hey, I've got an original. Like, it's cool to do that. Like, I love that I have some of these original, like some of these indie books that I backed before Kickstarter was full of like high profile comic people. I supported some crazy, stuff where you didn't even know who they were. You didn't know what the comic was going to be good. You're just taking a crap shoot in the dark. And so we're going to do that. Maybe if we did a variant, we could do a sketch cover or something. Those would be fun.
Yeah.
I wonder if they could just throw that in. Like, I've heard some people do like 10 of those, and then you could do that as like hey, buy the book for $5, and like book and stickers, books and prints, and then it'd be sketch cover would be the highest tier or something. But we'll figure it all out. We're gonna throw swag in and have fun. I've got Space Bat stickers already that I'll post up soon, which I'll explain I'll explain Space Bat on Instagram someday. Corey and Scoot killed it. I loved it. I like the idea. I think, what's the goal? You said you're going to work through September at least, and then maybe October.
Because I know, as far as commissions of the people I've reached out to, I only have this one and then a really cool Mickey Mouse one that I'm looking forward to because I'm a big Disney fan. But these are literally the only ones that have reached back out to me. I may post up and say, hey, I'm gonna do 4 more or 2 more or something like that. But yeah, I'm anxious to get back to drawing pages.
Yeah, you don't want to get out of that groove. And then when we do, we've talked about it, and you guys can tell us if you think it's a good idea. We were talking about laying out a page with you guys, kind of, because Scoot and I we do what we call thumbnailing, and we don't necessarily draw out every little thumbnail for every little page, but him and I sit down and work through the script. And he's read it, I of course wrote it, and we'll work through and we'll go through page 1 and we'll just read it, read out the dialogue, talk about it, and we'll draw stuff back and forth. Of course, mine's just little loose sketches. His are loose sketches too, but he's still better than mine. But we'll just draw back and forth, talk about stuff, move things around, just kind of make it a better story, tell the story together instead of me just going, so he doesn't have to text me a billion times or call me. And then also so that, you know, he doesn't, he sends me a message like, hey, what do you mean by this? And like, just read the script. Like, we're already working through it together, and it might just be, you know, sometimes we find good rhythms with stuff, or we'll move a panel, a page, or take something out, and, you know, it's easier for him to go through and be like, do we really need that panel, or dude, I need more space. You know, it's easier to do that in person. So you thumbnail it all, and then when he goes to do it, even if his final product changes wildly, it still helps to help shit. The last page of B Movie Saga 2, the page 8 turned into a double page spread. It's very useful to go through. And so we talked about doing that, kind of telling you, we'll go through and we'll kind of do the thumbnail with you guys. We'll probably already have it done, but we'll work through it again. And then we'll go through Scoot putting down the blue lines, you know, mapping out his panels and kind of roughing stuff in. And I think we know what page we're going to do in the first B Movie Saga issue, and it's a fight scene, so it should be fun and dynamic, but also it's a fight scene, so there's not a ton of spoilers. You're just seeing somebody fight. You know that there's going to be action, you know there's going to be adventure, and we can do it without me having to explain the plot. It's just like, hey guys, we're doing a fight scene. Not, hey, we're doing this on this planet because they were here doing this and this happened and then these characters got this way, and you're like, I don't want to read the issue now, you told me the whole damn plot. So it should be fun if you guys are into that.
Yeah, would folks like to see a page layout process?
Yeah, I know, like, some people, Hayashi's getting into where he's doing sequentials now, and I even like it. I mean, it's the same as listening to people talk about how they write stories, is even if I don't take anything from it, I get to hear how they do it, and it's interesting to me. I always love people's process.
Yeah, me.
And so we're talking about that, but I think what we need to do is set a goal to have that finished thumbnailed and ready to go in September, locked and loaded, so when October runs around, you can do it. But also, if you decide, if you could go, hey guys, I have 5 commission slots open, and I guarantee you'd fill them in 20 minutes. You do those head sketches and run out them all the time.
Yeah.
Gabe said, yes, please. Dude, it'd be cool. I would love for you to watch Scoot and give him feedback, because Scoot needs people who do sequentials to talk to him. And I mean, you may be like, dang, I never thought of that, and learn something, but you could also say, hey, here's what I do.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's no way you can learn. I mean, like, I've helped him lay out a panel before. Like, I've like, why are you doing this? Why don't you do this? And go, oh man, that's a good idea. So if my artistically, you know, challenged self can do it, it would be great to have somebody, have peers, people on his level or better who could help him, if you don't mind me saying.
No,
But
for sure.
It's
it'd be cool too, Gabe. We've talked about having guests on. Once I figure out how to do it, it'd be cool to have you on. And it'd be really cool. I'm getting my head in the shot again. It'd be cool, like, if we said, hey, you and I are both going to draw a headshot of Venom and just see how different it comes out at the end.
My God, you need like a IMAX camera to get all the detail in between you two. But we also are planning, when he starts drawing those pages, probably not the thumbnails process. We'll probably post some of those just for fun.
Yeah.
But when he starts drawing page 1, we're gonna post it up on Instagram, and your job is to absolutely annoy Scoot. It's just to email him, DM him. If you get his phone number, give him a call. He's not going to answer. There's a reason Scoot's not my emergency contact. Just keep him honest to where we know, like, we don't need to take another year to put a year and a half to put something out. I don't care if it's 12 more pages. Scoot needs to be working faster and harder than ever because he needs to get out of his job. And so it's going to be us pressuring him and doing these weekly things help. We used to do, before COVID broke out, we had like a solid year of weekly meetings and we were never more productive. I wrote like 9 scripts that year and still doing all the side hustle stuff we do. And so Scoot is Venom. But yeah, I think Scoot could get a variant cover of Venom. Maybe not the current Venom. I guess you could draw the one with the chains on his arms just as easily.
Hell yeah.
But
I draw chains.
But yeah, it's similar to the reason I'm trying to make a Tuesday Thursday post is if you can do stuff like that, it's not hard. All I gotta do is post up a picture and just say a little something about it, or post up fan art like I did today. But you just you have to do stuff to keep yourself honest and keep yourself on board. Like I'm taking my laptop with me to vacation. Vacation's just hanging out. Like I'm not going to parks or anything. I'm gonna run. Basically do what I do here, just hang out with different people in different area and have fun. And I'm taking my stuff so I can write every night because I just want to keep going, don't want to lose momentum. Quit with that job. And we
yeah, it'd be really cool to be able to quit my job.
That's a dream. Like, man, if a company, like, say we put out B Movie Saga to somebody's like, dang, that has potential, and you're like, dude, I'm working on the first issue, and let's say Dream Job Aspen Comics is like, guys, we need some new IP. Would you bring it over? You know, create your own, keep your rights, draw it for us. We'll pay Scoot this much and Brad this much to do it. And Scoot's is not enough to live on. He gets my lump sum too, and I'll keep doing my day job. I can, don't tell my work, but half the times I have my Google Drive open and I'm writing at work. I'm good at my job. I get my work done, but I also side hustle all day like I'm part of the King family. But yeah, it's any little thing like that to keep us on track. And but I would love for Scoot to stop working, because you could, granted, if you didn't have a day job, you could draw pages and commissions,
yeah,
and probably support yourself. And maybe after a year, you'd be like, Brad, I don't need your money anymore. Like, I can quit.
Yeah.
Get the Iowa comic creator compound going, where we all just live and harvest corn together with Corey as our patriarch somehow.
Corny inking.
Hey, stream going on. Get out of here.
The dogs don't care about the stream.
They don't support the hustle.
Sure don't.
And somehow I tucked my charging cable under the couch and they've all tripped over it. There's an impressive tragedy of life. Yeah. Yeah, I've been loving just getting, I haven't been as productive writing this year, but I've been doing some other stuff. Like I've been doing stuff with my run group, getting it up and going. Yeah. I say my run group because I'm part of it. I did not create it. I joined up with them. And then I've been doing stuff like getting ready to print stuff. So I've stopped writing to focus on other things like lettering. But
speaking of extracurricular activities, Brad and I rode 18 miles the other day on our bikes.
It was hot and humid and awful. And then I ran 6 miles and then I went swimming.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that. I came home and almost died.
Yeah. They were like, Brad, you didn't do your hill sprints. I was like, I sure didn't. I was like, I biked 18 miles. Everybody get on my level.
It was so hot today, I only did 6 miles.
I can't wait to go to Florida and have a nice... Oh, wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be worse. I think I got a tropical storm coming in to cool it off. I suggested we run during today, and that was apparently not the best idea I've ever had.
Who scolded you?
I'm just kidding around. Nathan and I were talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely signing up for that Scott Snyder thing.
Every time you say Scott Snyder, I think you're saying Scott Steiner. I'm like, what are you trying to be, a wrestler?
You just come in, I'm just like, look what I learned. Just gonna just double axe handle you and Steiner recliner you in the middle of the living room.
Big Papa Pump.
Holla if you hear me. Oh, I come in with the chainmail headdress on.
God. For all my freaks out there.
God.
Good stuff.
I don't know. I think that might be some 90s, early 2000s stuff that doesn't hold up.
It holds up.
It does not.
It holds up.
But the
Chains in the chat if Scott Steiner's your Poco.
oh, what is the opposite? Put a rope in the chat if you don't.
No, that's Sid Vicious. Or no, that was Mike Awesome.
Mike Awesome?
He hung himself.
Mike Awesome's still alive, isn't he?
No, I'm pretty sure he hung himself.
Crispin Benoit did, didn't he?
No, Crispin was swan dived him and his family.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Mike Awesome, professional wrestling. Oh my gosh, he is dead. Okay, so he died in Tampa, Florida in 2007. Christ, I'm out of touch. Let's see how he croaked. God, he was an awesome wrestler too. He was agile for a big dude. 6'6". Christ almighty. Turned to W. He was in WWE. I didn't know that. Oh God, yeah. On February 17, 2007, a group of Alfonsos, that's his real name, friends found him dead after he had hanged himself inside his Tampa home.
Yeah, I thought so.
WWE acknowledged death on February.
That's what happened.
Poor guy. I wonder if it was like roid rage or he just broke out, huh? Old school player. No, this is a commission. It is not for sale.
Yeah, this is a commission.
He has another Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage piece he could finish and put up for auction.
That's true. I also said, throw me out the right price. This one may be for sale.
Tell you, like, delete this video and tell the guy, like, oh man, I spilled water on it. I gotta redo it.
Gotta redo it. But lucky enough, I scanned it in. I'll send you a scan of it.
We can scan like Corey. You get those. Have you worked on the B-movie saga piece anymore?
Actually, I did for a few minutes today. But when I sat down, actually, to start getting the stream stuff ready, I was looking at it, and her head was too small, so I erased her head and redid it.
I'm gonna read you something, Scoot, and see if you agree. Hollowfield says his matches in ECW against Masato Tanaka were classic.
God,
agreed.
100%.
They didn't even do like ECW normally does, like bring tables or chairs or barbed wire or fire or whatever and try to be extreme. They just fought everywhere, and like Mike Awesome coming over that top rope out to outside was impressive. And then the awesome bomb. He just pick you up. He would power bomb him out of the ring onto the floor.
Dude.
Poor Tanaka.
The awesome bomb.
Tanaka would chop his chest. That's probably why he took a Tanaka chop too much. He's like, I'm out of here. Check out time.
Myself.
Which, funny enough, that's why Scoot and I stopped backyard wrestling, or at least me, is because I jumped off the.
Killed me.
Yeah, my finisher move when we backyard wrestle is like a flying leg drop off a ladder, but you were laying face down, so it was like American History X, the Kirby, and I did it off of the roof, and I hesitated and kicked Scoot in his spine, and there was a real coming to terms moment where I was like, I could have paralyzed my brother. Let's go in and make comics.
Hey man, you still draw?
We actually, God, I would love one day if we could find our compilation video of us wrestling.
Oh man,
it's put to dropping plates by Disturbed.
No, by Powerman 5000.
World Collide. Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe it's both of them. So she's out of the chat, but man, we did this video. We used to take a little camera and we'd record our matches. We didn't have anybody record them, so we just fixed camera, record these matches out on our trampoline and all these like stages we made, our deck, and just ladders attached to stuff, jumping off the roof. And it was fun. Like, it was really fun backyard wrestling. Mm-hmm. But Scoot, God, you were Anubis and I was Thumbtack Jack, and Bear was Lord Byron. It's just a lot of fun, just us goofing off as kids. And
hardcore.
We made a compilation video, but there's no like video editing software for the market at the time. And this is like early 2000s, like maybe like 2001, 2. Yeah. And so our brother had, I think, like 3 VCRs and 2 TVs set up, and he would play a clip, like record look through the matches. He'd find a clip he likes, pause it, rewind it, play it, record it to another one, pause, like do all this stuff just to splice all this stuff together. Then he put it on another one, played the music over it, and spliced it. I don't even know how he got the music on there, to be honest. Did he record
It was wizardry.
It was wild, but put it together, and it was awesome. It was really fun, and you'll see, like, God, I was like 5'1" for years, and just it was hilarious watching my little ass jump around.
It was a good like 12 years Brad didn't grow.
Yeah. Oh, Dwayne, you have that video? No way.
Sweet.
If so, we need to get it from you.
Yeah. I know Bear has it.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. We just like, oh my God, and then like we jumped off the roof all the time.
We had a ladder by the trampoline. It was crazy.
And yeah, we had
one time pretty ludicrous shit. So.
We had a dinner party. We had some friends over, some of our parents of our friends, and I used to have this scarecrow that we called Edward. And I threw it on the roof before the party, like on the other side of the roof so people couldn't see it. And I had clothes, dressed it up in my clothes, and I jumped up on the roof, and then they were like, we were jumping off the roof, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go, and like, watch me, guys. And I threw the scarecrow off and made him just head dive into the springs and the metal,
of the trip,
and he just folded. And I had told my parents I was gonna do it. I was like, hey guys, we're gonna play a trick on all the other parents. Don't get scared. My mom jumped up anyway.
She was still scared.
My dad thought I died. I fell off the roof laughing. I got chased by Justin's mom. It was hilarious. Oh my, it was funny to trick all these people into thinking I was dead. Maybe
if you didn't
not
know,
as funny
too,
as it should be.
if you didn't know too, man, it looked just like you flying off.
Yeah, because all you see is my clothes and this body fall and just buckle.
Yeah.
It was so good.
We did some stupid shit.
That was the second dumbest thing we did to acting like we shot people in Memphis.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
We haven't talked about this on stream. We used to live in Memphis, and we lived in North Memphis. Not a great part of town. Pretty good growing up. Used to have like Sandlot style 4th of July's where everybody was out in their driveway and you could roam around and super safe. By the time I turned about 10, it was not so great. But we used to do a thing. Our grandfather needed a wheelchair at some point and somehow ended up at our house. First of all, Scoot was a beast at that. Scoot was an extreme wheelchair. He could do tricks on that thing. And one day I thought it was funny to push him and he almost got hit by a Corvette or something because I pushed him into the road. But normally what we do is we get a group of like 6 or 7 friends that we have in the neighborhood, and we'd have one person pushing somebody else in the wheelchair, and we'd have the person in the wheelchair like wrapped in a sheet, looking frail and, you know, just sickly, and the other person's pushing down the street. And you gotta remember, this is Memphis. There's street lights, but those things were like, I think basically like they had one firefly per street light in the lamp thing, and that's all the light you got. So it was eerie. It looked like when they could have filmed Daredevil on our street. And it looked like scary Hell's Kitchen. And we would have one person pushing the guy in the wheelchair, and then a bunch of us would be hiding in like the bushes or off behind mailboxes or just in trees. And one of them would jump out. We had a flintlock cap gun. The older we had to load it, and it would just make a banging sound. But at night, it would muzzle flare, and you just hear. So we'd always have it where the person jumped out with the gun, shot the person pushing the wheelchair, and then we'd all run out and push the wheelchair guy over and just start wailing on him like we were jumping this guy. And we do it all the cars were coming by. Yeah, and you gotta think, like, we were between like 10 and 18. We were not smart. Bear probably should have known better, but
we didn't know better.
And one time, I don't know how that first car didn't flip. He slammed on his brakes so hard, he fishtailed.
Yeah. And
we would do it, and as soon as we see him stop, we'd all jump up and run. And the funniest when we had our friend come over, and we jumped out, shot the wheelchair driver, jumped the guy in the wheelchair, and this car stops, and like 6 dudes jump out. And they were big, buff dudes. And we're just like, holy shit. We clearly, we were not having fun anymore. We had learned our lesson. we messed up, and dude, you've never seen 6 people flee in so many varying directions so fast. I was not a runner at the time. I was not in shape, and boy, we were clearing. We were Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest
because we were all little kids.
trees. We were running fast, and then all we see is they come out and they run to our friend who is the wheelchair victim. He's like, "You all right, man?" And he's like, "Ah, we got you." And they're like, "Ah, man, you guys got us." And I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let them drive off because I still don't think they're cool.
This isn't fun anymore.
This isn't fun anymore. I remember when Donnie Cates was talking about, like, hey, name the things you used to do to cause mischief in your neighborhood, and he talked about using the little blood pressure thing, and they would put shampoo bottles in it and let them explode.
Yeah.
And I posted that, and then I love how, like, ours was still just kind of like, I guess we could have gotten like disturbing the peace or something. We could have gotten in trouble for it, but it was still just like kid, like mischief, childish mischief. And then people were confessing to like felonies.
Yeah.
So like, oh yeah, I used to send drugs through the mail. And he's like, guys, come on, you gotta stop confessing these things to me. It was great, but yeah, that was in considering where we were and at the time because that was right before we moved, and it was not a good part of town.
No, it wasn't.
The drug dealers weren't friendly anymore. The people didn't say hi as they passed by. It was just like
the drug dealer that sold out of the cooler with a menu, he was gone by that.
Yeah, he would. I mean, he'd watch and make sure you got home.
Yeah.
He was a good guy. Now we don't live there. I live in Midtown. It's super hipster. Scoot lives in Oakland. It's super boring.
Super boring. Safe as hell though.
Yeah, like my car isn't even locked right now. It's what you think of when you think of like kind of rural southern area. But yeah, so don't do that. That's not a good idea. Maybe Corey's kids can do it. They'll do something. He can tell them that story and they can pick up on
They'll
it
probably
later.
really shoot somebody.
With their second dad redoing their kitchen. Flexing on. He's probably like, those guys are redoing his kitchen and using his workout gear, just stealing all of Corey's masculinity.
One of these days.
He's going to wake up with no tattoos one day.
One of these days, when we're full-fledged artists and we can support each other and people care about our lives, we're going to print the chat.
No, we're not. I always said if any of us take public office, the first thing we have to do is delete that damn group chat. Because it is not appropriate. We're not insensitive, but we are not we're politically correct, but we're not, it's still not okay.
To each other.
Not to each other. And just imagine Corey's wife looking over his shoulder and just like, if we ever meet these losers.
Yeah.
I don't even know her name. I just like referring to her as Mrs. King.
Mrs. the King.
Mrs. the King. Oh, God. Before he comes here, there'll be 4 kings of Memphis.
How you guys doing out there? Y'all still awake?
Oh yeah.
I know I've been pretty quiet, but
Let's say 2 hours in, you're doing good.
I'm burning some lead here.
I was gonna say, yeah, looking good. I think everybody's just enamored.
I don't think I'm going to get as far as I wanted to because we're already at the 2-hour mark. So
That's okay.
I'm going to finish this little crotch/leg region, and then we'll talk to the people for a little bit, and then we'll get out of here. Well, you'll get out of here. I'll stay here.
I'll drive home. Fast. Gotta focus, heads in the way.
I've been trying to find a
heads in the way.
I've been trying to find a good angle for the camera, so that because I like to when I draw, I like to be up close.
Yeah,
but angle. It's so hard to
density, integrity, intelligence
to do it like this, because then I still want to get close, and my head's still in the way. So.
You can get Google glasses, and they can watch what you watch.
Especially when I start getting into the hashing details and stuff like.
Hellofield, you're going to need a copy of this to put some inks on. Once you start inking Scoot, there's no going back. I'm looking at the differences between the two. One, of course, other than the tongue, but it's just awesome seeing how it's,
yeah. I think in his face, I'll probably do a little more detail as far as the wrinkliness.
For Venom?
Yeah.
Go back and put more in, huh? You're gonna go in and put more detail in? I don't know. Doesn't sound like you.
Did you? Are you even gonna render?
Hallowfield, how long you been inking? Is it a new hobby, or I think we might have asked it before, but trying to familiarize myself. Like names, I'll learn. It takes me a while to learn them. I keep saying I need to send Matt some of the like B-Movie Saga 1 pages and let him play around with those. They're killer inks. I think he would. I would like to see him, and then plus more content for the page.
Yeah.
I guess I won't tell you. Your head's not blocking anything. It's out of the picture now, but it was poking in. But as long as it keeps focused on Venom, I won't stop you. May 30th he started. Oh my gosh.
Wow. What made you start? Just looking for a hobby?
And now that you commented 3 times in a row, your name's Triple H on here. I think Corey started because John Deere told him to. I guess everybody, like, I guess you just drew as a kid, and then like me,
Yeah.
I've probably told people this before, but like I went through a few different ideas and what I wanted to do, and it came to when Scoot was like, hey, I want to do a comic book, and I was like, all right, I'll write you some stuff for it. And then I like thinking back of like, oh, I wanted to make video games, or I wanted to make movies, and all I ever did was write. Like all I did was write stories and come up with characters. And then I remember at one point we had this like brain trust of like college friend or high school friends who knew how to code and build video games, and they're like, we're gonna make a fighting game. I was like, sweet, all right. Well, and they hired me to do backstory on it, and they were like, yeah, everybody who's a part gets to create a character, and then you give it to Brad and he'll do the backstories and stuff. And I came up with this whole story. Like I went to the like second meeting we ever had, and I had this whole story path and all these characters mapped down. I was like, guys, I know I'm only supposed to have one, but I created 6 characters and like had all this stuff. And then like, so Scoot's, wanting to draw comics, and I was like, well, I guess I'll write him one. And then I realized that's all I was doing was writing. And so maybe, you got to find the common denominator. What are you into? And, so you focus on what you're good at. And so I started reading books about it and kind of honing my craft, which is a continuous process, but it's definitely been fun to have that idea where I'm like, oh, this is what I want to do. It's, okay. And there's like, I don't know if I'd ever write long form like prose or anything. But the idea of like somebody came to me and was like, hey, I'm writing I'm making a fighting game. Let's use that example again. They're like, can you write a backstory just for something for like the story mode? I would love to do something like that. That would be so much fun.
Like me doing concept art for video games. That'd be fun.
Yeah, Hallowfield, awesome. I'm glad you write. We'll have to talk more about that. But yeah, I tried to last year actually. I started 2019 when Scoot and I got back from Orlando because we were down there at that point. I started drawing. And I was practicing, and I was getting lessons from Scoot. Would give me lessons, not like sit down and full on tell me everything, but he would say, hey, work on this, or here's how you do a basic body layout, or I would draw something and then he would critique it and send me stuff back. And I was, all the way through 2020, I was doing real good on that. And then I got real hardcore into writing, like focusing on writing at the end of the year, and I stopped drawing and I haven't gotten back into it. I've done a couple of things. I started Aaron's Captain America, and I was the same thing as I had a comic I was writing for myself to draw, and more of like a humor slice of life thing, but I was trying to find my style. There are a few people I drew inspiration from. There's a guy named Edbot5000 on Instagram. Really like his art style because it's real stylized and fun. And I was trying to do that. I need to get back to it, but right now, if I'm not devoting X amount of time to writing a week, I shouldn't be devoting any time to drawing. So, because it's one of those things where if tomorrow, once again, our dream Aspen picks us up and it pays us enough that both of us can quit our jobs, I would draw. I'd probably set aside at least an hour or two, a couple of times a week to draw, just work on art, and it would be fun because even in the short year I was practicing technique, I learned so much about art. I learned so much about angles and body anatomy, stuff that really helped me when I was writing comics. When I'm writing, I'm thinking about what Scoot has to go through. I can sympathize a little more.
I, on the other hand, will not be practicing writing. So I'm gonna stop here, but I'm gonna zoom in real quick just so we kind of see
some detail.
So you can see where I've kind of started to do some wrinkling here. So I'm gonna do a little bit more just because I like the little more detail in the face. But teeth came out cool. Tongue looks good. It's Venom. And then I spent most of this time working on arm detail. So still gonna throw in probably a few more veins. Venom's a veiny triumphant.
Oh.
Who doesn't love a good Venom ass?
Dude, he does have a donk on that cover. He got better glutes than Spidey. I guess he is a bodybuilder.
So that's where we're at so far. It's coming out pretty good. It's gonna be fun. So I think I'll just keep working on this on random streams. We already have an idea of what we want to do for next stream, so it won't be this, but we'll bring this one back. And I'll
say
just
work side hustle this some though, so you can like maybe wrap it next time.
Yeah, I'm thinking I may just finish Venom, and then next time we'll do Spidey, because Spidey will go a lot faster. Because you don't really on Spider-Man when you're drawing him, you don't really render inside where his spider webs are. Because it'd be a mess with webs and hash lines and shadowing and stuff. So you basically only shadow the parts of his suit that are blue, so like his legs and then this part of his back. So
are you gonna do the rubble at the bottom?
Oh yeah, that'll take literally, well, I say 20 minutes. It'll take me like 45 minutes, but it's just because I'll get ridiculous. And
then you gotta draw the hologram in the back.
Yeah, and I gotta find a holographic pencil to use. So so let's bring it back. Oh, let me move that. Don't need that up anymore. So there's Brad.
I'm in shadow. Serious.
Mickey Mouse is behind you, telling you get the hell out of the room. Other side.
I see him.
He's pointing.
Ooh, so we're mellowing.
Yeah, mellowed out. I'm actually kind of tired. I woke up early this morning, did a bike ride. So my only other day off this week though, so it was worth it. So how many people are still in here? It's about 8. Cool. Yeah, so like I was saying, we already have the idea of what we want to do for next show.
Keep an eye out for it because it will be people helping out. There will be crowd involvement before the stream.
There will be crowd involvement. But also I'll post up like I did this time. I'll post up days before, so we'll actually, before you leave today, I may see what my off days are next week and see
so
what
you're
day
gonna stream without me?
No, I'm saying.
Oh, the week after.
Yeah, the week after. We're done with this week. This week's BS is right now.
Well, the entire.
Whoa, what happened?
It went out.
Oh, I think Russell just unplugged. He just unplugged one of my lights.
Well, I'll be gone until the 22nd. So if you stream next week,
oh, you're going a whole week. I got you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be gone a whole week. I'm vacation, baby.
Uh-oh, guys.
Do we do
I don't know what I would do if I have to
without the gun show.
If I have to stream by myself, I mean, it would be pretty quiet. I'd have to have some music going.
We might take a week off. Maybe give you time to you can do the B movie saga when work on that commission some.
Yeah, that'd probably do. So maybe a week after. Let me pull up this calendar real quick. So you come back when? The 22nd?
22nd. Can't do it Wednesday because Wednesdays are either run group, but it's also the first Scott Snyder session. So.
Well, I start vacation the 27th. So
maybe we catch you guys in a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a Saturday stream. Huh.
You said it's Saturday the 27th?
I start Friday the 27th.
Friday the 27th.
So.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll be on
so you
for
can do
a
it
week.
anytime. Maybe.
Yeah, I'll have a whole week after
Maybe
that,
we'll miss a week, but we'll do 2 streams for you guys. We'll do a Spidey finish up, Spidey Venom finish, and then the new stream that we got an idea for.
Yeah, we can do that. So keep an eye out for all that stuff. All the social media stuff people say, follow us everywhere. If you haven't, Brad has been doing the Brute Studios Instagram.
Oh yeah, we need to start throwing that.
So I didn't put that in the description, but go follow the Brute Studios. If you search BROOT. Brute. Me and Brad's
Yeah.
name literally combined. If you search that,
Yeah.
you'll probably find it's probably the only one on there. But follow that. He's gonna be doing updates twice a week.
I try to do them Tuesday and Thursday. My phone's kind of been on the fritz, so been a little out. But I shared like Hayashi. He did a fan art of the Atlas Beetle. Super cool stuff. So if you ever do fan art, send them to us or tag us in it and let us know. Or if you ever have ideas, please God let me know, because I'm just trying to keep it going, keep it alive, generate some interest. And once again, it's all part of being active and continuing. Because if I'm updating that, I need to be writing. I need to be doing all that stuff.
Maybe you should post up Deadpool.
God. Suddenly have 4,000 followers or something now.
All right.
I might start doing a non-original character post, but it'll be Saturdays, and that's in the future.
Yep. I haven't seen Corey say anything in a while, so I assume he's wrangling the basketball team. So cool. Yep. Go follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. I still have a Facebook page, but I don't really do much on it anymore. And then, as always, with the Aspen cover, should be coming in the next 2 weeks. Not coming in, but be revealed in the next 2 weeks. So be on the lookout for that, because that'd be super, super rad. But until next time, so maybe hope you guys find something to do in a week and a half without us.
Maybe you can do like a little Insta stream or something, something on the side, some side hustle. Because it's easier because you can play music and stuff. And
yeah. All right. Well, until next time. Peace. Out. I did the wrong screen. Let's redo that. Peace. Out.